Welcome back to the Swearwolves. I'm Bret.
I'm David.
David.
Hey, man.
This is the 200th time that I've said welcome to the Swearwolves.
You're so
This
redundant.
is the 200th time I've said David.
And I go, yes, Bret. Hello. Uh-huh.
We're going to be talking more about this being our 200th episode in a little bit. We're going to talk about a big movie, a big blockbuster horror film from the 70s.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it's Jaws. And we're going to be talking about blockbuster films, and we have an extravaganza planned.
A blockbuster episode, if you will.
Yeah, it's like a summer blockbuster of podcast episodes. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about some things. I know you and I both go on eBay multiple times a day.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, really.
It is sad. It's
and searching the same things and then refreshing.
Yeah. And seeing the same things and going, should I buy this?
Yeah,
Maybe
you're that
adding
same
it to
thing
the
I
cart.
almost bought last time.
And then texting each other going, hey, have you ever thought about buying this? Yeah, but I haven't.
Mm-hmm. Or it's like, hey, I'm thinking about bidding on this, so please don't bid on this.
Yeah. That's one of them too. One of the things that I bought recently, I decided I got a wild hair up my ass that I was going to collect. And I never owned a Nightmare on Elm Street NES game when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I've played it when I got older. It's not that great. But I do like the box.
Yeah, the box
I
art's
do
way
like
cool.
the box. I'm going to hold that up for the camera here. If you watch our YouTube video version of this podcast, you will see this. But if you don't, well, just use your imagination.
We're back on YouTube after a little hiatus.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's been
I also
totally
got the Friday
smooth today. We're setting everything up.
Got the Friday the 13th one
That
as
looks,
well.
dude, that
Now, these
artwork
are
is so cool.
Both of them are really cool to look at, especially side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Both the boxes are in really good shape, slightly used, but I like that because it gives it that kind of
patina
feeling.
Looks
about
nice.
it. Yep, patina. And they have their instruction. Well, I had to buy their instructions separately, but boxes, instructions, games. Even the Friday the 13th even has the little inserts that have like the poster.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it has like the different games and stuff on it.
One of the games that LJN is promoting in here is Jaws.
Oh, man. Did you ever play that game?
No, that game sucks too, though.
It does. It's all right. It's just super repetitive.
Yeah. So that was the thing. I'm going to get those signed.
Yeah, those look good, man.
By Kane Hodder and Robert Englund. Guess which one I'm going to have Kane Hodder sign, and guess which one I'm going to have Robert Englund sign.
What if you did it? You flipped it just to be weird about it.
Just to be weird. But this is Kane Hodder on this one. This is from part 7. That clip art that they pulled or whatever the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so pixelated.
It still looks cool though.
It does
Vintage.
look cool. Vintage, yeah.
I actually like that
recent
game.
Purchases. Friday 13th?
Yeah.
I love Friday
I know
13th.
a lot of people
when I was a kid, I
think
hated
it's a
it.
blast.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I got that game probably 12 or 13, when I was 12 or 13, and I brought it home and I started playing it, and I was like, this isn't like the fucking movie. Why is he purple?
Yeah, and I don't think I'd even seen the movie when I got the game. One of my friends got it first, and I was like, this game is awesome. Okay. And then I think I ended up getting it for Christmas or something.
Yeah.
And then Nightmare on Elm Street, I didn't get that game until I was an adult.
And it sucks.
It does suck.
I mean, listen, it's not the worst Nintendo game ever made, but
no, but it's pretty bad.
It's not the best either.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So that's it for new purchases, really, for me. Oh, I also got, it's way in the background and it's on a shelf. I'm not going to bring it over, but I got the San Diego Comic-Con 2020 exclusive Gremlins figure, where he's dressed up like, it's just a gremlin dressed up like an Olympic runner holding a torch.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got that recently.
Nice.
And then for Father's Day, maybe I'll put a picture of that in here. For Father's Day, my wife, I got it just the other day, actually. It was a late gift. But it's about 12 inches tall, and it's Jason from part 6, like sunk to the bottom of the lake.
That's
and
cool.
It's the
Underwater,
figure. It's the
Crystal
NECA
Lake.
figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the NECA figure attached to a rock. And it's cool. It's not like the cheap,
that's cool.
cheesy one that I got for $19.99 from China. That was fucking bullshit. that I
It's
threw
when you
away.
sent me
I
the
wish I
picture,
still
I didn't
had it
realize
now
how
so I
big
could
it
compare
was.
the two.
That's cool.
But this one's pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty good size. So what about you? Any recent purchases? Any recent discoveries?
Actually, yes. Kind of forgot. Back on Halloween of 2021, I ordered a replica McCready hat, like the hat that Kurt Russell wears in the movie with the
It's like a sombrero.
Yeah, but folded up on all four sides. There's a hat maker called Screen Capped. They're on Facebook. And this guy does custom hats, does a really good job. He does replicas of like that one. He does all the Indiana Jones fedoras. He does like cowboy hats. He does all sorts of cool stuff. But I commissioned one from him back in October, and just due to like supply issues, it was gonna. He had quoted me 6 months anyway, so I knew it was gonna be a while. But he messaged me the other day and said that's gonna be shipping out tomorrow, so I should have it by the time this episode comes out. For those listening at home, I'll probably be wearing the hat around the house.
Nothing else.
And nothing else, yes. Oh, just a sock over my pee-pee.
I want to see that hat, of course, whenever you get it. Now, you're coming out to my neck of the woods in August.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Steel City Con. John Carpenter's going to be there. I know you've been hemming and hawing about the shit that you want to try to have Mr. Carpenter sign for you. One of the things that you had talked about was having him sign this hat. Have you decided not to?
I don't know yet. I need to see the hat once it arrives because I want to see if there's a logical place. Like, I don't want him signing the outside of the hat, but maybe like
just
under
wear
the
it.
rim
Wear it to the
somewhere.
airport. Yeah. Oh, a logical place for him to sign it. I thought you meant a logical
but that's
place
the other thing
to
too
like,
is
store it.
transporting it would also be weird. Yeah, I could wear it in the airport and look like a I don't know. Probably put me on the no-fly list or something. This guy looks suspicious. So we'll see. I haven't decided if but I'm definitely gonna have him sign my The Thing original one sheet. I've got like that like a cheesy little poster that I've had a bunch of people sign. So I'm gonna have him sign that one since Wilford Brimley's on that one and he's no longer around. And then I'm going to have him sign a Petri dish. Yeah. That'll be cool.
All right, so let's get into this episode. Let's talk about the summer blockbuster movies we remember from, I guess, as a kid, right? Like, which ones, because Jaws is the movie we're going to be talking about, and that was a summer movie that came out in June of 75. And that was kind of like the start, I guess. I don't know what happened before that. But
I think so, yeah.
It's like the start. And Spielberg was synonymous with that for a while, I think. Having these summer blockbuster movies. But what were some of the ones that you remember seeing when you were a kid, like in the theater? Like that was an experience.
Yeah, I think the big one for me was probably Jurassic Park because I was so excited for it. I mean, I think I was 12 in the summer of 93, so that was right. I was the target demographic for that one. So I remember just being so psyched to go see it. And this was pre-internet, so you couldn't go online and order tickets or reserve your seats or any of that stuff. So it's like you had to get up early. So I remember my mom packing us into the car, but like to get there right when the box office opened so that we could buy tickets for later in the day. And I remember it was showing on like 3 or 4 different screens, and the line just to get tickets in the morning was really long. And I remember you would just go, like each person, they would just say what time. Like you didn't even have to say what movie you were buying tickets for. They knew. And then, I remember getting in line for it and the line just wrapping around the building just to get into the theater after you had your tickets. And this is summer in Phoenix, so it was just awful. The swamp ass was palpable.
Was prevalent.
It was terrible. But I remember that being a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me share another one before you get to your second one. In Phoenix, this is a memory of mine. Now, I was probably, 20, 22, somewhere around there. Yeah, it must have been 22 because I think it was the summer of 99. Star Wars Episode 1 was released, I think, summer of 99. And I got to the theater probably 6 hours before the movie started.
Dang.
And sat outside. I was the first person in line. I sat outside and just waited. Now, there was many showings. I was the first person in line for our showing.
Yeah.
And then my cousin ended up joining me, and my mom and stepdad ended up coming as well. So I was just holding the spot. So I was right there in the front row. And I was so fucking excited for Star Wars Episode 1. I was a Star Wars kid growing up. That was my
Did you have your face painted like Darth Maul?
I did not. I didn't even know who the fuck a
It's a
Darth
missed
Maul was
opportunity.
at that point.
That's true.
But I was wearing a Darth Vader shirt.
Okay.
I remember that. So I was kind of like, yeah, I was a nerd. I still am.
Hey.
But I wasn't.
Well, dude,
I wasn't dressed. I didn't bring a lightsaber.
I might be mixing up my movies, but I'm pretty sure Star Wars Episode 1, I think I saw that on my senior ditch day. So that's how cool I was.
Mm-hmm.
We ditched school and went and saw a fucking Star Wars movie.
Yeah, well, it came out in 99, so
That's the year I graduated, so I think that
be-
was the movie we went and saw.
it must have been. But to kind of relate that back to when I was a kid, 1983, I went and saw Return of the Jedi. I was 6.
Yeah.
I probably just turned 6, or I was going to turn 6. I might have not even have been 6 yet. It might have come out. I don't know when that was released, but I remember waiting in line for that.
That's pretty
That
cool.
was a pretty big one. Yeah.
The first big movie I remember even seeing in a movie theater was Back to the Future. But I mean, I must have been 4 or 5 years old at the time, so I don't really remember much, but I do remember seeing it at the theater and really liking it.
Back to the Future I saw a couple of times in the theater. Gremlins I saw in the theater. E.T. I saw twice in the theater, fell asleep both times.
That's
So
cool.
I saw a lot of these movies. I remember I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That was a big deal.
Dude, that was one of my big ones because I remember I didn't get to see it opening weekend and being so pissed because I watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I think I brought this up in another episode. One summer, it would have been the summer of '89. I watched that movie almost every day. So, and then when Last Crusade came out, I was like, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. And my best friend who lived on the street right behind me, the guy that I used to watch Temple of Doom with every day, he saw it opening weekend. He wouldn't tell me anything. He didn't spoil stuff, but he was just like, "Oh, it's so good."
That's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we saw it second weekend. That was exciting.
I remember seeing a lot of movies growing up, and I think part of the reason is like I had to go to my dad's house every other weekend.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause my parents were divorced, and my dad I would do the same thing, but being like a parent who doesn't raise these kids like on a regular basis, he's like, well, do you guys want to go see a movie? And so we'd just go see movies all the time. Like he would just take us to go to the movies. And back then movies were kind of cheap.
Yeah,
They
And
weren't
matinees
as
were like-
expensive as they are now.
No, if you saw a movie during the day, I think it was like
Couple
$3 or $4. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember we used to go see double features.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Muppets Take Manhattan, and what did I see that with? Was it the fucking Never-Ending Story? Some shit like that. It was a double feature though. I remember seeing, and I was like, my dad sat in the theater with us for 3 fucking hours to see this double feature, and yeah, sure as shit he did. But whatever. He was probably sleeping. Like, good time to catch up on some sleep.
Exactly. Get the
So.
REMs. I remember seeing like at the drive-in they always did double features. I remember seeing Who Framed Roger Rabbit one time. I don't remember what they paired it with, but I remember that being a big event. I don't remember if it was summer.
My Who Framed Roger Rabbit story is not about seeing it in the theater, but when it came on HBO, it was on HBO every fucking hour on the hour for like days. And I remember I spent a few days at my cousin's house one summer, probably like 5 days, and we watched it 3 times a day. I saw that movie so many times I could fucking quote it.
Dude, my Who Framed Roger Rabbit story is that I wanted to see it so bad that my mom was like, okay, we'll go to the drive-in. It must have been a Friday or something when your dad gets home.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting on the swing set in our backyard just looking at the sky because there was a storm coming in. And I was like, this storm is going to ruin Roger Rabbit for me. And I remember when my dad got home, I just kind of gave my parents the puppy dog eyes like, are we still going to go to the movie? And they're like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. It's pretty cool.
Well, we're not here to talk about fucking Roger Rabbit or fucking Roger Rabbit.
I don't want to
however you
fuck
wanna
Roger
put
Rabbit.
the emphasis on that. Comma, no comma. We're not here about talking
That's
fucking
a crime.
or Roger Rabbit. Is it though? If you fucked a cartoon,
It's
would
still
it be a crime?
bestiality, right?
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, that's true. Loophole.
Loophole. Got it.
I'm gonna go bang Mr. Magoo.
So I can satisfy all my fetishes. Oh, speaking about banging, do you watch The Boys on Amazon Prime?
I still haven't watched season 2. Or are they on season 3 now?
Well, they're on season 3, and I'm gonna give away something right now, David. So, well, it's not gonna be that big of a deal.
Somebody bangs a cartoon.
But there's a superhero that can shrink himself, and he climbs. This is the first episode of season 3. He climbs inside a guy's pee-pee hole.
Why?
For sexual pleasure for that guy.
Oh.
For sexual pleasure for that guy, and I'm watching it and I'm holding on to my dick going, would not feel good.
Yeah, no thank you. I don't want anything going up there.
I won't tell you what happens, but that is something that does happen right away. It's pretty
That sounds intense.
It's pretty amazing. It's
like passing a kidney stone
not here
in reverse.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Why would you want that? I wouldn't want to
accept a kidney
there.
stone.
But I guess he was headed towards the prostate. So he was gonna milk him.
Yeah, he's gonna make him feel real good.
Let's not talk about this any longer. Let's start talking about horror movies. That is a horror all on its own. But I do highly recommend The Boys, especially because like people that are into horror films, I think they would like The Boys. It's got some gore in it.
Nice.
Let's talk about Jaws, 1975. This is pre-Bret and David. This is before the Swearwolves was even born.
Yep. We hadn't even come out of our dad's pee holes yet.
No, I don't even think my dad's balls had created the sperm.
I don't know how long that stuff lasts, but I'm sure we weren't in there yet.
I'm sure it's not long. Release date, June 20th, 1975. What do you think was the number one movie in the box office?
This movie.
You are correct.
That was an easy
There's no
one.
doubt about it.
Yeah, no.
What do you think was the number one song?
I'm going with Feel Like Making Love by Bad Company.
I feel like making love.
Making love
like making love to you. Sync that up in post and we'll be fucking golden.
Boom. Perfect harmony.
Speaking of golden, no, the number one song was not Feel Like Making Love. It was a song called Sister Golden Hair by America.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
You ever listen to any America?
A little bit.
They sing, I went through the desert on a horse with no name. But they also sing Sister Golden Hair. Well, I got to thinking of you, Sister Golden Hair so bright.
That's right.
And I tried to make it. I don't mind making. I actually don't mind America. They're kind of shitty in that 70s like shitty music vibe, but I kind of dig that.
Yeah, I don't mind them.
It's kind of like yacht.
Yeah,
it's almost yacht rocky, but not quite.
Not quite, no.
Jaws was written by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb, based on the novel Jaws by Peter Benchley. Directed by the one and only Steven Spielberg, with music by the one and only John Williams.
Yeah, John Williams won an Oscar
stars
for
Roy
the score.
As well he should.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to... Well, hold on.
We'll get to that.
We'll talk about that in a second. This movie stars Roy Scheider as Chief Brody, Richard Dreyfuss as Matt Hooper, Robert Shaw as Quint, Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody, Murray Hamilton as Mayor Vaughn, Susan Backlinie as Chrissy, Lee Fierro as Mrs. Kintner, and Jeffrey Voorhees, what a name, as Alex Kintner. Runtime of this movie, 2 hours, 4 minutes, which I was like 2 hours and 4 minutes. It does not feel like 2 hours and 4 minutes when you're watching it. It goes by
fast. Yeah.
Goes by really fast. Budget for the movie was $9 million. David, how much do you think this brought in the box office?
Oh, man. 200 million?
$472 million.
That's insane.
$500 million off of a $9 million investment.
In the 70s. That's impressive.
In the 70s. I don't know. I think that equates to $1 gazillion
dollars. Yeah. Absolutely. Well done, Mr. Spielberg.
Well done indeed. And this movie was, much like our podcast today, set up for failure because shit just kept going wrong the entire time. Maybe that's why shit just kept going wrong with us today.
Maybe
it was like our own personal Bruce that
it was awful.
fucking with us. It was awful, but Jaws is not awful, and I'm gonna flip things on its ass end today, David, and I'm gonna spoil something.
Do you want to
this movie is 5 Pamela Voorhees Heads.
Let's get our 5 PV heads out of the way right now. Yeah, this movie's fantastic.
This is like, I wrote down for my notes. I wrote, perfect fucking movie. That's what I wrote.
Yep, pretty much.
I just watched it. Again last night. I've seen it many times before. I know you've seen it probably about 1,000 times as well, and you just watched it the other day. And I do want to talk about
It might be the movie
things.
that I've seen.
I do want to.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say this might be the movie that I've seen more than any movie. Like it's one of those.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me. It's one of those ones. Anytime it's on TV, I'll watch it.
Yep.
And I mean, Star Wars is probably the one that I've watched the most throughout history. Well, Back to the Future. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, but this is one of them. This ranks up there with one of them that I've seen the most. And I definitely do want to talk about the plot and go through the different beats of the movie. But right off the bat, I'm going to say a couple of things. Number one, John Williams' score we talked about briefly, and him winning an Oscar. If there is a movie that has perfect fucking music, it's this and The Godfather. This is a horror movie, though, so we're going to talk about this. But John Williams' score in this movie is fucking perfect.
It's fantastic.
From Jaws' theme, which
2 notes, basically?
Everybody uses.
Yeah.
Dun-na, dun-na. You're in a lake with your friends as a kid, and you're going,
somebody jumps in the water. Dun-na, dun-na.
Yep. You're in a pool. You're going, dun-na. Everybody's scared of a fucking shark. The reason why they're scared of a shark, David, is because Steven Spielberg made us scared of fucking
It's his
sharks.
fault. He did it.
It's his fault. There's so many times as a kid that I was scared of a shark.
Dude, even as an adult, like just going into the ocean, like I was in Cancun a few weeks ago, and it crosses your mind as soon as you step in the water. You're like, oh, I hope there's no sharks in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just perfect. And I know a lot of this stuff that happened in this movie was happy accidents.
Yeah.
Things just falling into place, things falling apart and going, well, we're not going to shoot
now
the
we
shark
can't show
as
the
much
shark.
as we had originally.
Yep.
But that was perfect. We don't see the shark until pretty much the third act.
Right. Yeah, we get little glimpses, but for a lot of the time, we see the shark through a floating dock or barrels or POV.
Yeah. Yeah, POV definitely for the first half of the movie, and it works. I mean, when when Chrissy got, we don't see. Well, we see from the shark's point of view, and it's really dark. When Kintner gets it, we see from the shark's point of view.
Yeah.
This is a horror movie, but
it's kind of an adventure.
Scary, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
But it's kind of it's an adventure movie.
Yeah, drama,
to me,
adventure.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's definitely a horror movie. I did want to share with you a couple of things that I have from Jaws. I do have this Quint action figure from NECA.
That's very cool.
They're coming out with a Matt Hooper one. Actually, they're coming out with 2 versions of Matt Hooper. The one that is him in his regular clothes, and then the one with him in his diving gear.
That's cool. You'll have to get Dreyfuss again and get him to sign
it. Yeah. Speaking of Richard Dreyfuss, I have a Matt Hooper Funko Pop.
Very cool.
Right there. And I have a Chief Brody Funko Pop. You try chumming this shit. Come down here and try chumming this shit. That's what he's holding, the chum bucket right there. And then, of course,
Bruce.
Quint.
Oh, Quint. Yeah, of course.
I don't have, I don't have Bruce the shark. My Funko Pop collection is vast, but I don't buy Funko Pops much anymore, so I don't have Bruce. However, I do have the Toonie Terrors NECA of Quint getting eaten by Bruce the shark.
Oh yeah,
I just couldn't find it. It's in a box. It's in a box somewhere, so I just couldn't find it. So I just found the ones that I had. But
cool.
I know you have a little piece of memorabilia. Why don't you? I don't have it
with me. It's hanging up
Tell everybody.
in the next room. I can see it from where I'm sitting, though. It's a replica of the no swimming by order of Amity PD or beach closed or whatever that sign says that they have at the beach when they initially closed the beach. But I've got a replica of that from Trick or Treat Studios that I got Richard Dreyfuss to sign when we met him at Days of the Dead, Las Vegas. Oh, and Susan Backlund also
Susan
she also signed
Backlund.
it. Forgot about that. Mad Monster.
Yep. First victim of the shark. We call him Bruce. That's what they nicknamed him on the set, so I think that's what everybody
Brucey.
has
Yeah.
taken to. Bruce is the name of the shark in Finding Nemo.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
I like that
The
movie.
Great White. Hi, Bruce. So let's talk, since we're talking about Susan Backlund, let's go ahead and start talking about the plot of this movie. We're in a New England beach town island of Amity Island, where Chrissy Watkins is partying on the beach with a bunch of other like college kids. Her male suitor, I forget his name, but he's just some drunk ass kid.
I can't remember his name.
Like,
they just met at the party.
Yeah. Yeah. They make goo-goo eyes with one another, and she's like, let's go swimming.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
Like,
they don't know each other. She's like,
and
what's
then
your name? And she's like, Chrissy. Where are we going? Swimming.
Yeah.
And she gets naked.
She starts taking off her clothes and running. He's like, I'm right behind you, baby. He follows her. She goes into the water and starts swimming. It's dark. It's nighttime. And she swims out to like a buoy.
Yeah, and he's on the shore. He can't quite.
Come on in.
Yeah, he's having trouble getting his clothes off. He's drunk.
He's wasted, and he passes out on the shore.
Yeah.
Well, while he's passed out, Chrissy gets tugged underwater, and then she gets tugged again, and she starts whipping back and forth. She gets slammed up against that buoy pretty hard. She's screaming too. I even put on the subtitles just so I could see what she was saying.
At one point, she says it hurts or something.
Yeah. Yes. She's like, "Oh God, it hurts. It hurts. I don't want to die. Oh God." Well, sorry.
You're not gonna get your wish, Chrissy. You're gonna die. That
No,
scene is so
she
effective, though. Like
she-
when she first gets tugged underwater, and we don't see the shark, but that is terrifying. I just remember as a kid that striking fear into me. Even swimming in my pool at night, if the pool light wasn't on, was scary.
Yeah.
I remember my dad
Now,
as a kid
this-
used to play, like he'd get underwater and he'd tug on her legs so we could like kind of reenact that scene. It was awesome.
Now, this scene, and also, and not to jump ahead here, but Jaws 2 has a pretty effective scene where they're water skiing at the beginning. But this scene is like Chrissy gets tugged under, and then she comes back up, and she's all kind of confused as to what's going on. It's like, was the fucking shark playing with her?
Yeah. That first one, was that just like a little tickle?
Yeah, he's just like, boink. And he's like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Boink.
what's this? I was going to bite you now.
Chief Brody, we get introduced to Roy Scheider. By the way, also, another thing about this movie, perfect fucking casting.
The casting is great.
And
all of,
I am... Go ahead.
Oh, and just perfect casting and great development of all the characters. Like all of the characters are fully fleshed out people that just seem like real people that inhabit this universe.
Totally. And my wife was like, basically, it's like, you're obsessed with Robert Shaw. And I said, yes, I am. I'm like a Robert Shaw stan.
Yeah.
It's like, every time he's on screen, I'm just like, fucking, I just kept saying last night, I was like, Robert Shaw's so fucking amazing. And I realized what it was at a certain point in the movie. I said to my wife, I realized why now I'm so obsessed with Robert Shaw. And she goes, why? I go, because he reminds me of my grandfather. It doesn't talk like that, like my grandfather, because my grandfather wasn't Scottish or Welsh or whatever he is. But my grandfather, he looks kind of like my grandfather. He has the same mannerisms as my grandfather, and he talks like my grandfather, like cadence-wise. And they were both at least the character of Quint was a World War II vet. It's like just his character of Quint just reminds me of my grandfather so much. So
That's cool.
I think that's probably why I really like him. Plus, Robert Shaw's just a really good fucking actor.
He's great. Like, you believe him 100% that he is this person.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie The Sting?
Yeah, he's great in that too.
He's fucking awesome in that movie.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I know. I got to watch that again.
Is that
It's
Robert
a really
Redford?
good movie. Robert Redford, Paul Newman,
Yeah.
and Robert Shaw.
That's funny. I was going to say, was that Robert Redford or was that Paul Newman? But yeah, it was both of them.
It was both of them. That's a really great movie. But Robert Shaw, unfortunately, passed away in 1978. He was only 51 years old when he died.
That's crazy. He looked older than that in Jaws.
Yeah. He did. He was only like 47, 48 when they filmed Jaws. Little sidebar here. Robert Shaw passed away. He was having some chest pains throughout the day when he was golfing. And he was driving home from the golf course with his wife. And he was like, I've been having these chest pains on and off. He goes, so I'm just going to park the car here. And I'm going to walk up to the house to kind of walk off this. Because he just felt like I must have felt like he was tight or something. And my father, who had a heart attack, has told me the same thing. It just feels like your back is tightening up. And you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Well, anyway, he got out to walk it off, and he got about 5 steps, and he fell over.
That's nuts.
Dead.
That's crazy.
Fucking crazy. Yeah, sad.
That's sad.
Anyhow, Chief Brody gets a phone call the next morning. And
I like that he's got 2 phones. He's got like his house phone, and then right next to it, he's got the police phone, and he picks up the wrong phone at first.
Roy Scheider does these little mannerisms throughout the entire movie that are really good. That really, like you talked about the character development, he really develops the character through nonverbal means as well as through what he says script-wise. But, and it's little things like that, like picking up the wrong phone and doing this. Like, he's kind of scatterbrained.
Yeah, and lots of faces. Like, he's slightly annoyed throughout most of the movie.
And he's a New Yorker,
Yeah.
He's a New Yorker in a New England island town,
And they haven't been there very
really
long.
Quite fit in.
Yeah, they said that they relocated in the fall, and now it's summer, so they're still kind of getting acclimated to Amity. And he hates water. He hates the island. Yeah, he's a city guy.
Yep. So he goes down and he starts investigating it, and the kid who was out there with Chrissy is like, "Hey, look, I woke up. All of her clothes were still here." He's like, "I think she drowned." And they're both like, "Yeah, maybe."
Yeah, he's like, "Well, either that or she's running around naked somewhere."
But they quickly find her remains on the Chief Brody is like second in command. Another officer finds the remains, and we get to see how much of her is left later on when Hooper asks to see the body, but it fits in a Tupperware container.
I was going to say, she fits in a very small Tupperware container. And at this point, we just see a little bit of her hand, and we see crabs and stuff like crawling all over. It's gross.
Oh, she got fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Medical examiner says that it was a shark attack.
Yep, and Brody puts that in his report. He's like, it's a shark attack. And he gets a call while he's typing it up that there's some Boy Scouts that are doing like a mile swim thing. So he's like, I better go out there and, get them out of the water.
Yep. So he goes out to a ferry and he gets on it, but he's quickly joined by Murray Vaughn, who is the mayor. Right, Murray Vaughn?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, Larry.
Yeah.
Larry Vaughn.
Larry. I'm sorry. Murray must be another guy. But
his
Mayor
name is
Vaughn,
Murray. Murray Hamilton's the actor.
Oh, Murray Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's right. Murray Hamilton. Murray, Larry, same fucking word. Mayor Vaughn rolls up in a fucking Cadillac with like the rest of the fucking crew,
including the guy that told
with
him that it was a shark attack.
Yeah. And that guy, the medical examiner, is like, nah, it was a boating accident. Some fucking fisherman probably just hit her with a propeller.
And Brody's like, that's not what you told me on the phone. He's like, oh, well, it's possible. I'll have to amend my report.
Yep. They don't want the beach to close. Amity's a beach town, a summer town.
Summer town.
Like,
we need summer dollars.
They're making money off of all the New Yorkers coming in.
Yeah, Vaughn straight up says, like, hey, if we don't have the beaches open, these people will gladly go somewhere else and give them their money. Like, we got to keep the beach open.
Brody gives into it pretty easily because they're like, hey, look, this is your first summer here. You got to think about us, about your new community. And listen, there's not going to be any more problems. And Brody's like, okay, well, I guess so.
Yeah.
We'll just up the amount of people that are watching the beaches and we'll keep them open and we'll see what happens.
Yep.
So later on, we're at the beach and everybody's there. The mayor's there, I think. I don't know if the mayor's there, but there's a couple other people there. And
it's a busy day.
Brody, and we get a really good scene here of Brody's watching the beach or watching the water from his spot on the beach. He never goes in the water, but he's just watching it. And like a person will move in front of the camera.
Yes.
And then it'll zoom in.
And it gets tighter on his face.
Zoom.
Yes. It's awesome.
Tighter on his face, and then it cuts to the water, and it kind of does the same thing to the water. So it's building tension. And I'm sure Spielberg ripped that off from Hitchcock at some point, because I'm sure Hitchcock did the same thing. But Spielberg does that effectively in this scene. And if you're going to watch a scene in a movie that builds tension, I think this is the one. And there's also a lot of chaos in this scene, too. Like, the kids are out in the water, and there's lots of splashing, and there's lots of just pandemonium happening.
And something else Spielberg does in this scene is, like, he does this in a lot of his movies, but, like, cross-dialogue, where there's people talking, but you can only kind of hear what they're saying because Roy Scheider's character, Brody, he's not really listening because he's trying to focus on what's happening in the water. And I really like that because it's kind of distracting, and it's meant to be that way. And people are coming up and kind of saying things, and he's kind of like, yeah, whatever, and he's kind of half listening.
The fucking old man who comes out of the water with the fucking
we know all about you, on. Chief. You don't go in the water.
It's like, nice
some bad hat, Harry.
Nice hat, Harry.
And he's like,
and that guy with his fucking man boobs.
Yeah.
His fucking old ass man boobs,
yeah,
like flopping around. He's all offended,
clanging about. With his little shower cap.
He's all offended by it. Yeah. He's like, well, fuck you. Anyway, Brody's watching the water, and his wife, Ellen, comes over, and she's like, look, you just need to relax. Like, and she's like giving him a little bit of a shoulder massage and telling him to relax. And he's like, all right, you're right. And their kids are playing out in the water. They have two kids. They have Mike and Sean, and they're out there in the water with their friends. And then there's this little boy named Alex Kintner, played by Jeffrey Voorhees. This is how Jason Voorhees' start really happened.
This is the real story.
Shark ate him. Anyway, Alex Kintner's out there, and it seems like none of the kids are playing with him. Like, maybe they don't know him, or maybe it's just because his mom's a fucking bitch.
Yeah, maybe he's a fucking nerd.
Yeah, he's a fucking nerd. No one likes him. They're like, at least if it was going to be a kid that got eaten, at least it was the Kintner boy, right? Am I right, guys?
No one will miss him.
Anyway, he's out there on a raft.
And he wants to go out and, like, because mom wants to go home. And he's like, oh, just let me go back out on the water. And she's like, oh, your fingers are starting to prune.
Like, 10 more minutes, Alex Kintner. Whatever, bitch.
She goes, 10 more minutes.
Too. I don't like this.
Oh, you don't like Miss Kintner?
No. 10 more minutes. 5. Actually, he only gets 5 because
he's going to be dead.
Yeah. He's out there on the raft, and the shark, again, POV, we don't see the shark. All we see is the results of it, and it's a deflated raft and a fucking pool of blood.
We get a little bit. Like, we see the POV of the shark coming up, and then we see the raft flip, and I don't know if it's fins or what. Like, you see something, and you see the kid kind of struggle and go under.
Yeah. He gives a kind of a roll. Like, the shark, like, gives him, like, the death roll.
Yeah, and then he goes down, and you see a bunch of blood in the water.
Runs. This is another great shot, too, because it's that, I think it's a fucking Hitchcock shot as well, where they zoom in but zoom out.
The vertigo shot?
They dolly in but zoom out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on Brody's face.
They go right in on Scheider. Yep. And so the background stays the same focal distance. I don't know what all the logistics of it is, but it's
a really cool shot.
Good. And he gets everybody out of the water, of course. And then Mrs. Kintner's like, Alex?
All the
Has
parents
anybody seen
are holding their
Alex?"
kids, and you see just the mom all by herself looking for her kid. Oh, it's very sad.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, I felt bad for her, but she blames Brody for this, and it's not Brody's fucking fault. It's the mayor. If you're going to slap someone, slap the fucking mayor,
Slap
that
the mayor
fucking
around.
asshole. So everybody's at, now speaking of the mayor, they're all at like town hall or whatever.
Yeah, or a press conference.
And all the
or something,
business
'cause
owners are like,
Miss Kintner's put up a $3,000 reward to catch the shark.
yeah. And she is not there, but all the business owners are there, and they're all like, are we going to shut the beaches down? We need to know right now if we're going to shut this shit down. And Brody's like, yes, we're going to shut the beaches down. And they're all, of course, up in arms. But then the mayor's like, but only for 24 hours. Don't worry about it.
And Brody's
guys.
like, I didn't agree
And
to
they're
that.
like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's like, Larry, the mayor, is like, don't worry about it. We'll get this figured out. But there is a bounty on the shark's head, and this is where we meet Quint. He's in the back, and he does his fucking drawing of the fucking shark.
Yeah, and he does the nails on the
chalkboard and
chalkboard to get
scratches
everybody's
the-
attention.
Yep. And he's like, basically, you all know me.
You know what I do
and
for a
I
living?
will catch the shark. Yep. I'll catch the shark, but I'm not going to do it for $3,000. You got to give me $10,000. And if your community wants this gone and you guys want to not be in the poorhouse come fall, you'll pay me the $10,000 and I'll go out there and I'll catch this shark for you. So Mayor Vaughn's like, yeah, I guess we'll take
think
that under
about it.
advisement.
Thank you, Mr. Quint.
He's like, well, what a fucking stick in the mud.
Yeah, and I like when
But-
Quint leaves how he's like, Mayor, Chief, ladies and gentlemen, and then just walks out.
Yep. He walks out and he's got his little like handler.
Yeah,
with
the
him.
guy that never says anything.
His little like, yeah, he's just got him and his dog.
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
He must be
I
like
don't
the-
know
is he
if
the
it was
chum
the first
bucket
time I
guy?
ever know. Yeah, he's usually out there, but they couldn't fit him on the Orca when we see him. But he must be his like helper. I guess never mind. I was gonna say he inherits. I'm not spoiling anything. Fucking Robert Shaw dies. All right, it's the worst part of the fucking movie.
It is.
All right,
So
I
sad.
cry almost every time I see it. But anyhow, Brody's called in help from the oceanograph. How do you say that word?
Oceanographic? What's a hard word?
Sure,
Oh,
it is a hard word. He's an oceanographer. Oceanographer Matt Hooper, who's a fucking nerd, but he's cool. He's
like
a nerd,
Hooper.
but he's cool.
Yes.
Oh, I love him. Dreyfuss is so fucking awesome in this role. Again, another
Perfectly
casting.
cast. Yep.
Yep. And meanwhile, there's a bunch of fishermen out there, and they're like, "We're gonna collect this bounty." They want $3,000, man. And I wouldn't turn down $3,000. I wouldn't hunt a shark for $3,000, but I don't live in 1975 America.
Yeah, exactly. An Amity Island.
No. By the way, Amity Island, Amityville, like I always thought that was kind of weird. growing up.
It's kind of weird.
They should mix the two, like a house that's haunted by the ghost of
By
a
a
shark.
Yeah, instead of get out, it goes, dun. You're like, what was that?
Yeah. You sit on the toilet and you just hear da.
You're like, oh shit, it's coming from my butthole.
Shark's gonna eat my butthole. He's gonna turn really small and climb up my pee-pee hole.
Yep.
Play
Oldest
with my
trick in the
prostate.
book.
I've seen it on the boys.
He's gonna milk me.
Yeah, so Hooper's there, and Hooper's like, let me see the remains of Chrissy. And, there's another good scene. Like, when we first introduced to Hooper, a lot of chaos also. This whole thing is, like, pretty chaotic while they're trying to hunt this shark. All these fishermen. And Hooper's telling these guys, he's like, you guys...
yeah,
Brody's
Brody
like,
asked
hey,
him,
can
he's
you
like,
tell
hey,
those
you.
guys...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, hey, can you tell those guys not to do that while I'm on this phone call? And so Hooper's like, hey, guys, I wouldn't do that. And they're like, fuck off.
Yeah, he's like, you guys are overloading the boat. And they're like, get out of here, get out of here. And he's like,
you're gonna die.
Well, he's like, can you guys tell me about any good restaurants around here? And they're like, yeah, walk straight ahead. And he goes, you're all gonna die.
Then he goes back to Brody. He's like, they're all gonna die.
All those guys are gonna die.
Yeah. So anyway, Brody's like, oh, you're Hooper. Oh, it's great to meet you. And Hooper's like, yeah, let me see the remains of the first victim. So
and this is where we get the Tupperware of
yep.
Chrissy's remains.
And Hooper's just like, oh, never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, and he's like, this was absolutely a shark. This was not a boating accident.
Yep. And it was a big shark, and he measures the bite radius. Well, a couple local fishermen, not Ben, what's his name? Ben Gardner?
Ben Gardner?
It's not Ben Gardner.
No.
It's not him. We'll learn more about him later. But because Brody asked, oh, did Ben Gardner get this? And they're like, no, it was us.
We did.
It's like, wow, great. Good job, guys.
I'm like, what kind of shark is that? And they go, tiger shark. And I like the guy goes, a what?
Why does he say it like that?
I don't know.
Is he just like, oh, with your fancy names for sharks, like tiger shark? Come on. So Hooper's like, listen, these clowns, the odds of them catching the right shark are 100 to 1. But
yeah, and while they're taking pictures of
it,
he's measuring the mouth, and he's like, this doesn't seem to add up. At least not to the Chrissy body.
No. And he says, like, listen, it could be the one that ate Kintner. But I doubt that. I think it's the same shark that ate both of them because it's hunting these waters, and you probably got a great white on your hands. But let me slice this guy open, and we'll see, because whatever he ate in the last 24 hours is still in his body. Still going to be in there.
Yep.
The mayor's like, listen, we're not going to do some half-assed autopsy right here and have the Kintner fucking boy remains just spill all over the deck, which I do agree with him on that. Like,
I agree. Like, that's not the place to do that.
But I also agree that they should cut it open and make sure that it's the right shark.
Definitely.
They all think that it's not the right shark. At least Brody is convinced by Hooper. And later on that night, Brody's getting drunk, and Hooper comes over with a couple bottles of wine.
He gets even more drunk.
He says, we're going to have one more drink, and then we're going to go cut that shark open. There's a couple other things that happen maybe before this. We get the Welcome to Amity Island sign gets defaced with a shark fin behind the girl.
Oh, that's right after they cut the shark open.
Oh, is that right after that?
Because that's when he tells him, like, because Hooper tells him, like, you still got a shark problem here, dude.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Okay. But another thing that happens, too, is we get these two fucking fishermen who are like, we're going to hunt this shark with the fucking roast.
With the fucking roast tied to the dock with a chain.
Yeah, and the one guy, what an asshole. He gets pulled off the dock, and he just holds on to the dock. I'm like, let go, dude.
Yeah, let go and swim away.
What an asshole. But he swims towards the dock, and there's a tense moment there where you think he's going to get eaten, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
he makes
and
it.
I love that because you see the dock coming closer to the guy as he's swimming away. It's like, oh, shit, the shark's down there.
Yeah.
But he makes it just in the nick of time.
Brody and Hooper go out at night. They cut the shark open, and sure as shit, it's just got a license plate and a couple of fish
from Louisiana
inside of it.
Or something. Yeah, so then Hooper's like, well, let's go out on the water because this is the time that he's probably feeding. We've got a good shot of spotting this shark. So
Brody's like, I'm not drunk enough to do that. And he's like, yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
He's like, I'm not going out there. He's like, yes,
you
are. Well, they do, and they go out, and this is where they find Ben Gardner's boat.
Yeah, and it's all torn to shit.
So Hooper's like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm going to go dive under there and find some stuff. And he does. He dives down in there, and he finds a shark tooth the size of a shot glass.
Yeah.
Is what he says. And then he finds Ben Gardner's head.
Dude, that scared the shit out of me as a kid. When Ben Gardner's body pops through that little hole. Isn't his eyeball hanging out or something?
It's just a head floating there, but it's pretty gnarly looking.
Yeah, it's creepy. And Dreyfuss freaks out. He's like, and drops the tooth.
Drops the tooth, and he goes back up to the shore. And this, yeah, you're right. This is when they talk to the mayor.
Yeah. The next day, because the sign's vandalized. He's like, dude, there's still a shark here.
Yeah, you have a shark problem. That wasn't the right shark. And the mayor's like, do you have the tooth? No tooth. No fucking.
So, I dropped it.
No way. And Hooper's like, well, fuck this guy. I'm going on.
Yeah, he already had a deal. He was going to be
oceanographic-
going to Australia or something like that.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to go hunt great whites somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
peace
you
out.
guys still have a shark problem, but fuck you.
Yep.
And Brody's like, oh, well, whatever. So the beaches are open, but and the tourists have come from the mainland.
Yeah, we see ferries like with hundreds of people on them coming in
Hundreds,
for
thousands.
the weekend. Yep.
Yep. Do you like the arcade scene?
Oh, I love it. All those old school games. Yeah, very
Yeah,
cool.
they're playing Shark Hunt.
Killer Shark was
or
one of them.
Killer Shark. It's like a
Yeah.
old EM game almost.
Yeah.
And then Space. What was that? What's that one? The yellow one?
I don't remember which ones there were.
I forget what it is, but it's like a video game.
Like
And then
Sea
there's some
Devil
other
or one of
EM
those?
games.
Oh, yeah, some video
Yeah.
game stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
it's 4th of
beaches-
July weekend also.
Yeah, that's another reason.
is-
That's another reason why we chose this movie too, because this is going to be released on 4th
On the 4th of July.
So,
Yeah. There you go.
what a better way to honor America than talk about Jaws?
Talk about
But
Jaws.
everybody's on the beach, but nobody's getting in the water.
Everybody's terrified, and rightfully so.
And there's even a documentary crew out there making a movie, and they're like, "Hey, Amity Island used to be such a great place.
Oh, yeah, like a
Now everybody's
reporter
getting eaten
or
by
something.
sharks." Yeah, you know who that is?
reporter? That's
You know who's-
that, yeah. It's Peter. I was going to say the same thing to you. It's Peter Benchley.
Yeah, Peter Benchley. Look at us
Yeah,
with
pretty
our
cool.
knowledge. The mayor goes up to a couple and he's like, "Look, you get in the fucking water,
Get in the water.
or I'm gonna kill you."
He's like, well,
No, he's
all
like,
right.
get in the water.
I'm gonna fucking stab you. I'm gonna crawl up your urethra. It's gonna feel great actually, but he's like, no, I'll get in the water.
for a little while. But so this old couple, man, this is the other thing too. Kintner's mom looks like she's his grandma.
Mhm.
This couple, they look like they're the grandparents of these kids. Everybody looks fucking old.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because they grab those kids, and I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, they go to the beach with their grandchildren. And then Brody's kid,
But
Michael, wants to go in the water too, and he's like, nah. But he's like, oh, can I at least take my boat out?
He just got a boat.
Yeah, he's like, I want to take the boat out, but he's like, well, put it in the pond because he thinks the pond will be safe.
And they call it the pond. Yeah, they call it the pond, but it's just
It's like a cove.
like an inlet
Yeah.
of the ocean. Yeah. And he's like, but that's for old women. And he's like, well, just do it for this old man. And he's like, all right. So him and his friends take his little sailboat out into the pond. Anyway, everybody's out in the water, and all of a sudden, a fin appears.
Yep.
Dun. Swims past a couple. Dun.
And you
Swims up
see
to
people
John
react
Ritter.
like, yes, that guy looks just like John Ritter. I thought that too.
That fucking John Ritter guy's an asshole too.
Yeah.
He pushes those kids
He pushes
off
those
that
kids
raft.
out of the way. He's like, "Oh shit!" But he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say like, "There's a shark." Like everybody get out. He's just like, "Nope,
Nope.
every man for himself." And he's like,
He's
"I'm
like-
gonna get out of here."
He's like, three's company.
Yeah, eat one of those kids. That'll distract him.
Yep. Come and knock on our door. I'm swimming past
Dun.
you.
That was just a big misunderstanding.
It's just all like Mr. Furley just heard the wrong thing. But yeah, we're seeing the point of view of the shark at this point, and everybody's like, fuck, shark. Everybody starts running. Hooper is actually out on a boat. There's helicopters flying, and they all
Yeah.
see the fin.
And there's a spotter,
And they
like
go up
somebody
to
on the
it.
beach sees it and they blow the whistle. I think.
Yep. All the boats converge onto the shark, and they got their guns drawn on it. And it's just these two fucking kids with a cardboard
Cardboard fin.
They
and
all-
snorkels.
Those fuckers almost got shot.
Yeah.
I always thought about that too. I'm like, why didn't they just pull the trigger? Like, I don't know.
Dude,
anyway,
and I like
good
when
thing
they
didn't.
I like when they catch those kids too. Like the one is like, "Hey, he put me up to it," like turning on his buddy. But I really like how while he's talking, the water like goes over his face. So he's like, "He put me up to it." He like I don't know what he actually said, but that had to have
he
again
made me
been one
do
of
it.
those accidents.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, while they're doing that, this is a great fucking scene too. There's a girl over by the pond, and she sees the actual fucking shark.
She sees it from the shore. Yeah.
Yep, and she screams, "Shark, shark, shark in the pond, shark in the pond." She goes nuts, right? Michael's in the pond. Brody's on the beach, and he's like, these fucking kids. Like, he just got word that it was the kids with the cardboard fin.
Yeah, and he's like, now what?
And then he hears, what's in the fucking pond? And he's just kind of defeated. He's like, whatever, fuck off. And Ellen tells him, she's like, Michael's in the pond. And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, and it's like, holy shit. And it slowly builds. And then he's like, fucking flat out running. Yeah. And he starts fucking running for that pond. There's a guy out there just rowing a rowboat. And he's all, hey kids, what are you up to? Tying a sheep shank, huh?
Yeah. Ever been in a Turkish prison? You like movies about gladiators? Get out of here, man.
Yeah. And then he's like, what are you kids? Everything okay? Fucking shark.
Dude, when I was watching it,
rams right
wife,
into this
like,
guy's
what's
boat.
With this guy? He's like a fucking pervert.
Knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The shark's going, I don't like fucking pedophiles, so I'm going to hit this guy
I'm gonna
full
eat this guy
bore
real good.
and bite his fucking leg
This
off.
is the first time, too, that we really see the shark. But even then, it's only for a couple seconds, but we do see it. We're like, that's a big-ass shark.
Michael's boat tips over, and Michael and his buddies are in the water. This dude, this fisherman or whatever, this pedophile, he gets his leg bitten off, and we see the leg sink to the bottom. It's fucking gnarly.
It looks real. It's awesome.
It is awesome. And then the shark swims right past Michael, and Michael goes into shock.
Yeah, he's freaking out. That scene of that guy getting pulled into the water, though, looks so good because the shark's like still submerged, but you see its mouth open and grab him. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and that guy's fucked.
Yeah, he's dead.
Michael's at the hospital. He's in shock, but you know what? He's using it to his advantage. He's going to have some coffee ice cream, which sounded really delicious when I was watching this last night. I was like, oh, I want some coffee ice cream. But Brody goes up to the mayor who's there, and he's like, Mayor, you're going to sign these fucking papers so I can hire Quint, pay him his $10,000, and we can get rid of this.
Yeah, and the mayor feels like genuinely bad, and he even tells him, like, my kids were in the water too, and he's like kind of shaking, and he's like, give me your hand, you're going to sign this now.
And he does. Yep. The mayor gives in. He signs that shit. So Brody hires Quint, and Quint's like, you're going to pay me $200 a day, whether I catch it or not. You're going to pay me $10,000 once I catch it. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And Brody's like, sure, yes, whatever.
Anything you need. I love that scene. And then he's like, here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
I don't know, but I like it.
The only thing that Brody asks is that he goes with.
Yep.
Because he wants to see the shark die. And Hooper goes with. Because Hooper's like his bud now. And he trusts him. And Quint at first is like, fuck Hooper. He's just a little rich boy from the city who likes playing with sharks. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been out there. And he's like, let me see your hands. He's like, you got city hands. You don't have calluses on your hands. You never fucking worked a day in your life. And we do know this about Hooper. Hooper's a little rich boy.
Yeah. But he also knows his shit. And I think that's what he tries to get across to Quint. It's like, dude, don't give me, I think he says, don't give me your working class hero crap. Like, you know, I'm an educated man.
Yeah. Yes. But Quint's like, sure, fine. Hooper, you can come. Quiet guy with the dog. Yeah, sorry, you got to stay back on the shore.
I like when they're loading up all of his equipment. Quint's kind of making fun of him. He's like, what are you, some sort of half-ass astronaut with all your little devices?
Yeah. Well, because Quint's bringing like a pair of pliers and a fucking hammer and shit like that. And Hooper is bringing like all this fancy schmancy equipment, including like a shark cage and some respirator tanks for when he goes underwater, and harpoons and like a drug, like a
poison or something.
To like knock him out or something.
Yeah,
knock the shark out. They go out on the boat. The boat's named the Orca, and they're gonna hunt down the shark. And Brody's job is to chum the fucking fish guts over the side of the boat. And that's where we get the line, you try coming down here and chumming some of this shit, which is a great line. Hooper is helping steer the boat because he's been on boats quite a bit, like, his whole life. And Quint is kind of the hunting guy. He's like, this is where we're going to go. The scout, if you will. They have these big yellow barrels that they're going to use, and they're going to shoot the shark with this harpoon, and it's going to attach the barrel. And the idea is that it'll keep the shark from being able to dive under.
Yeah, so you can kind of track where it's at.
Like up.
Yeah, exactly. And tire it out.
Yeah, and buoyant. Yep, and tire it out. And then they'll just drag it back to shore.
Yep.
They don't know the shark that they're fucking with at this point.
Yeah, because I think Quinn even talks about one time he had to get 2 barrels into a shark, a real big one, and brought it in.
Yep. And this shark, by the way, guys, takes 3 barrels. and even at 3 barrels, it still dives.
It's still able to get all 3 underwater. Yep.
And Quint keeps going, 3 barrels? He's not going to be able to dive. Not with 3 barrels. He says that a couple of times, and sure as shit.
It's like Dr. Loomis. Happens. I shot him 3 times.
Or 6 times. With 3 barrels? Yeah, 6 times. But I'm getting ahead of myself. They have their whole little fucking adventure. And there's some great score that happens here when they're hunting the shark.
Yeah, like kind of some whimsical type music, like when they're on the boat and chasing after the barrels and stuff.
Yeah. This is where we start getting to see the shark more and more. When Brody's chumming the shit and he says that line, the shark comes right out of the water.
Pops right out of the water. It's awesome.
That's when he goes back to Quint and he's like, you're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, it's a great line.
They shoot him with the barrels and they're following him, and then the shark goes under.
Yeah, and Quint puts, or not Quint, Hooper puts one of his beacons on it too, like when they shoot the barrel. So now there's like a flashing light, so they can also spot it at night, hopefully.
Yep.
But yeah, that first barrel's like, Bruce is like, nah, dude, I'm just gonna swim away.
Speaking of night, they shoot him with these harpoons, and then they're like, well, we'll just wait till the morning. So they start getting drunk.
Yeah. That's a great scene too, where they're all sharing their stories and showing each other their scars and stuff.
Yeah, except for Brody. Brody's hesitant to share his.
I like he pulls up his shirt a little bit, like he got his appendix taken out or something. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. He's like, that's the only scar I got.
Yeah.
But Brody asks Quint about a scar on his arm.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, that's an old tattoo. I got that removed. And like Hooper's like, what'd it say? Mother? And he's like, no, it was actually the USS Indianapolis. He's like, and then it's silence.
That sobers Hooper up pretty quick.
Yeah, he's like, you were on the Indianapolis? Yeah, and Brody's like, what's that?
And he tells the story about how, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but it's worth watching. And this monologue, by the way, Robert Shaw, if I'm not mistaken, helped write this monologue.
I think that's true, yeah.
He took the basics of it and he added some things to it, but probably one of the best monologues ever. One of the greatest scenes.
Agreed. It's probably my favorite scene in the movie.
One of my favorites as well. And his delivery is just the best.
Yeah.
The best. He tells the story about how they were on a mission, the USS Indianapolis, to deliver the bomb to Hiroshima that ultimately used to knock out Hiroshima, deliver the bomb that ultimately bombed Hiroshima. And it was such a secretive mission that nobody even knew that they were there.
Yeah, it was top secret. Yeah, and they got hit with a couple torpedoes, so their ship started going down, but the mission was secret. Like, they didn't have time to send a distress signal. So nobody really knew where they were
to rescue them when they didn't show up. And they started getting attacked by sharks.
Yeah, almost right away. Like, started picking them off. And they were trapped in that water for days.
Yeah. And what does he say? Over 1,000 men went in the water.
1,100 or something like that? Or
300 came out.
Yeah. Sharks took the rest.
Yeah. But I'm not going to do it justice here. David's not going to do it justice. I would just recommend watching that scene.
Yeah, it's so good.
Look it up on YouTube or something.
I like how it ends. He's like, I'll never put on a life jacket again. It's like, no.
He's right.
He is correct.
Shark attacks.
Yep.
At that point in time, and then they start fighting it, and they do it throughout the morning. The boat starts taking water. It's gonna sink.
Boat's getting all fucked up. Yeah, it's taking on water quickly.
We'll skip ahead. Let's just skip
Quint
ahead.
destroys the radio because Brody wants to call in to get help, but he's like, no. Smashes it with a baseball bat. That's probably a bad idea. And then
it was a bad idea. I don't know why he did that.
Yeah.
Like pride,
well, now
maybe?
You're fucked. Yeah, I think it was like, no, man, we're going to get this thing. We don't need help. And then that's when they put the second and then the third barrel on him.
Yep. And then this is when Quint's like, Hooper, what can you do with all this machinery? And Hooper set
quick.
up his...
something I really like about that, once it starts sinking and it's obvious, like they're not like, and the engine blows. Another Quint mistake. But there's a cool scene where nothing is really said, where Quint just grabs a couple of life jackets and tosses them to Brody and Hooper, kind of implying like, we're going to die. Like, we're screwed. Yep. And then he's like, wait a second. Hooper, what can you do with this stuff?
Yeah, exactly. And Hooper's like, well, we can set up this cage and I can inject it with this.
He's like, if the shark can get close enough, I can jab it and pump it with like 20 cc's or something of whatever this poison stuff is. And Quint's still pretty skeptical,
strychnine.
But it's like, we got any other ideas?
Yeah, I think it's strychnine.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He gets into the cage and they lower him down and the shark immediately attacks him.
Yep.
It's kind of a jump scare.
Yeah, because he comes from behind. Hooper's looking one way, but the shark comes from the other side.
Yep. And Hooper gets so scared that he drops the spear. Yep. And he's trying to reach for it, and the shark just destroys the cage.
And gets in the cage with him.
Yeah, and as an audience, and Hooper like stabs him a couple times.
Yeah, he's got a knife. Yep.
But as the audience, we're led to believe that Hooper doesn't survive.
Yeah, we do see Hooper swim away. So it's like, hopefully he's all right. But yeah, I remember as a kid, I was like, oh, he's dead.
He's fucked. They pull up the cage, and it's just gnarled. And Brody and Quint just look at it, and they're like, fuck. And then the shark attacks the boat.
Yep.
And then the boat starts going under, and Quint can't hold on, and he's sliding, and Brody's trying to grab him, and Quint's even like... he's like screaming, and this is like one of the worst fucking scenes, David. It gets me. I don't know what it is about this, and maybe like I said, maybe because it reminds me of my grandfather, maybe whatever, but every time I see it, I'm just like, no.
Yeah, it's a really sad scene.
And Robert Shaw's just so good.
And really well acted. Even his death is fantastic. He's screaming. Yeah. And I love how Quint like puts up a fight until the very end. Like as it's biting him in half, basically, he's got his machete and he's hacking at it, trying to kill it.
Yeah. He gets gobbled up.
Yeah.
He's fucked.
Dude, something else I really like about the Quint death is how fast it all happens. Like it's like bam, bam, bam. Like they pull that thing out of the water, it smashes. They're like, oh shit, and then the water starts to sink, and then all of a sudden, oh, here goes Quint. It just happens really, really fast.
And then Brody is getting attacked, and he shoves one of these oxygen containers into the shark's
throws it in his mouth. Yeah.
And then he's like on what's left of the boat because the boat is sinking, and there's only like the bow.
Very quickly, yeah. And he kind of crawls up into like the bow or the crow's nest or something like that with his rifle, and he's like, fuck.
And he starts shooting at it, and he learned earlier that those oxygen tanks could blow up
because Brody knocked one over, and Hooper was pissed. He's like, dude, you mess around with this shit and it can blow up.
Yep. So he starts shooting at it, and he's like, come on, blow up, you son of a bitch, blow up. And then he's like, smile, you son of a... And as soon as he gets to the word bitch, the bullet hits the tank.
Boom.
And Shark and Quint, by the way, go everywhere. Because that has to be... Like, we learned earlier that the shark, anything it's eaten in the last 24 hours is still in him, right?
That's true. I never thought of that. Yeah, there's Quint everywhere.
And then the seagulls are eating all of it. And my wife said, she goes... They're feeding on Quint.
Fucking eating
and I was
Quint.
like, yep. Yeah, they are. Yep, they are.
Nutrient-rich Quint.
The seagulls are all flying in loops
they're
because they're drunk. So yeah, the shark blows up,
Yep.
and then
And then all of a sudden we see
Hooper
some
comes to the
bubbles,
surface.
and then Hooper comes up. And I like that scene too. Like he swims up to him, and then there's just kind of silence as they're looking at each other for a second. Hooper's like, Quint, and yeah,
just shakes his
and
head.
Brody's like, nah.
And then he's like, ugh. And then they grab barrels and they're like, "Do you think we can make it to the shore on these?" And he's like, "Yep." And they just start swimming for the shore.
Yep. That it.
It's such a great fucking movie.
It's I think I don't know, maybe we have said this before in the podcast, but this is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's terrific.
Yeah. I mean, horror movie or not, it's one of
just
the
a great
greatest
movie.
movies ever made. And I think this, I mean, you can tell how this put Spielberg on the map. I know he did a couple of things before this, but this was his first major
major hit.
And there's no question in my mind after watching this. Like, obviously, he was influenced by Hitchcock, right? He took a lot of things from Hitchcock, as far as like, but that's what the greats do, right? They borrow,
and make it
pay
your
homage,
own. Yep.
steal, whatever. Yeah, but make it your own. It doesn't it doesn't hurt to have 3 of the greatest actors ever in it in this movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to have,
And it's really well
greatest-
written.
one of the greatest composers of our lifetime composing the music for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt that you had a well-written script by the guy who wrote the best-selling novel.
Yeah, all the stars
And-
aligned on this one.
And you have one of the greatest directors of all time.
Yep.
like all of these things lead to success. They did come out with sequels. There was Jaws 2, which I don't mind.
Jaws 2
I
is not
actually like
bad.
Jaws 2.
Yeah, I actually kind of like Jaws 2. 3 and 4.
Jaws 2 to me is like a slasher film version of Jaws.
Yeah.
It's got it's like a Friday the 13th movie because you got the high school kids like all like out on the water and everything. A couple of them get eaten. It's a slasher film.
I haven't seen Jaws 2 in a long time, but I remember enjoying it.
It's a fun watch. Roy Scheider is back. His wife, the actress's name escapes me. Ellen Brody.
Lorraine Gary.
Lorraine Gary. She's back. Richard Dreyfuss didn't come back. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they wanted him to, but they explain it away in the movie like he's off on some other adventure. But he was probably like, fuck that. I ain't doing
Maybe
this
he wanted
shit.
more money or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Or he was like, I don't do sequels.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm Richard Dreyfuss, okay?
Oh, it's in Jaws.
But they did Jaws 2. They did Jaws 3 in 3D, which sucks.
3 is terrible.
Dennis Quaid is
Yes,
in that.
he is. That movie
And,
sucks, though. And then 4 is even worse.
Oh, Lou Gossett Jr. is in that as well. And Jaws 4: The Revenge. Awful.
Horrible movie. Dude, I remember the
One of-
summer that movie came out. I remember going to Universal Studios with my family. And like that was supposed to be, I guess, like the big movie that summer for Universal. And I just remember there being lots of Jaws hype. And this was before it was released.
And then it got released and they took it all down.
Yikes. That movie sucked.
We've talked about Michael Caine in the past. He's such a great actor, but Michael Caine won the Oscar, I think, for Hannah and Her Sisters. And he couldn't be at the Oscars because he was filming Jaws 4. But he has said many times that he takes roles sometimes based on location.
Yeah, and money. And I remember he said Jaws
And money.
Jaws the Revenge bought me a house or something like that.
Yep. And it was filmed in the Caribbean, so he
Yeah.
didn't really care too much about it. But that being said, Spielberg did not return. Spielberg does sequels. He did Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah, he directed
did
the first
Indiana
2.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did Indiana Jones movies, but he chose not to do the sequel to this movie. And I don't know if it was just like he was like, I think we said all we needed to say with the first Jaws.
The shark blew up. No?
But Jaws was a big, big time success. It led to, the toys that you see
The
now.
video game.
But even toys back then, my sister had a Jaws board game.
Oh, that's cool.
And the object of the game, well, it wasn't really a board game, but it was a game. The object of the game was there was a shark and its mouth.
Oh, was it the game Shark Attack?
I don't know that
There wa-
game, but
Or maybe
I'll
Shark
explain
Attack
it
was
to you,
a
and you can
maybe it was a
tell me.
knockoff of the Jaws. Yeah.
The Jaws shark would open, and you would put all of these little things in there, like items that the shark would have eaten. Not people, but like license plates and steering wheels and gloves and stuff. And its mouth was hinged with rubber bands. And you would use this hook to grab one of them and pull one of them out when it was your turn. And if on your turn you pulled the one out that caused the mouth to shut,
Oh, that's cool.
you would lose. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I guess in my memory, it was a lot cooler. When I looked it up recently, I was like, this is a fucking lame-ass game.
Yeah, Shark Attack was a completely different game, but there was a mechanical shark head on the board that, like, I think it was on a track or something, but it would move, and it would move towards your pieces.
okay.
And you had to roll quickly, and, like, if it said, like, 1, you'd move up 1 space, but you wanted to basically, like, outrun the shark before it ate you.
Can't happen. You can't outrun a shark.
No.
But Spielberg came out with other films.
He's
after
done some
this.
stuff, yeah.
He's had quite the career, and David was like, maybe we should talk about our favorite Spielberg films. Now, these are our favorites. They're not the best. I want to put a caveat on this.
Yeah. Don't come after us for not putting Schindler's List as one of our favorites.
Schindler's List is probably his greatest film, his opus, his magnum opus. But I'm not going to put that on my favorite because Schindler's List is not a movie I think that people rewatch on a regular basis.
It's a movie that needs to be seen, but I've never found. I don't need repeat viewings.
Yes. However, there are movies on here that some people might go, well, that's not Spielberg's greatest films, on my list at least. And I will beg to differ that it's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So we each have a list. Now, I didn't put a top. I didn't put
You didn't put
a
them in
top
order?
10.
Okay.
I didn't put a top 5. I put a top 8 or 9. And
See,
you'll
I
know
did
why
5,
it says
but
8.
I have several like honorable mentions.
Well, because I did my top 5, and then I was like, well, I have a couple more that I want to put on there. So they'll be my honorable mentions. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to talk about honorable mentions first?
Sure, ones that didn't quite make the cut.
Yes. So my honorable mentions, and this is why I did 8 or 9. So I'll go number 8 or 9. Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Really?
They're my honorable mentions. They're not in my top 5.
Wow. Okay.
I love both of those movies.
Yeah.
I think they're both really great movies, but they're kind of like, yeah, I like them. There's parts to Last Crusade that I'm like, I will watch that part, and I love the beginning of Last Crusade, but then there's and I love the end of Last Crusade, but the middle stuff I'm kind of like, oh, you're cheesy.
Yeah.
Be gone with you. Raiders gets a little boring at some parts too. I know that's probably blasphemy, but
Yeah.
there's some parts where I'm like, oh God, let's just get on with this. I want to see faces melt.
Yeah, exactly.
What
Open the ark. Make them look at it.
What about you?
My
What's in your
honorable mentions
mention?
would probably be like Schindler's List. Saving Private Ryan didn't make my 5.
Saving Private Ryan's number 6 on mine.
Okay. And then I would say like Close Encounters is another one that's I really like that didn't quite make the cut. And then probably my most controversial one that didn't make my cut is E.T.
Oh, wow. That is controversial.
Mm.
You just lost a fan. And that fan, his name is Christina.
Is
And
your
she
wife
lives in the house with
it's
me.
like her favorite movie. Sorry.
Well, neither of those are in my honorable mentions, but Saving Private Ryan was, and West Side Story.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Have you seen?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That movie was awesome. Like, I like the original, but the new one was fucking fabulous.
Yeah, I liked it.
I thought he did such a great job with that, and actually used people of the right ethnicity to play the right parts. So,
Well done.
But anyway, did you put these in order then?
Kinda, but for me, like my number 5 is a clear number 5. 4 through 1, they're all interchangeable. I love all of them.
All right, so give me your number 5.
So my 5, and what's funny is after I wrote it down, I turned on the TV today and it had just started, and I watched the entire movie right before we started recording, and that is Minority Report. I love that movie.
Really?
Yes, the movie's a blast.
It's good. I will tell you this. Minority Report's good. You know what else is good? War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Did that make your list?
It didn't, but it's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Both Tom Cruise movies. Neither one of them are on my list. My number 5 is probably controversial as well, only because I don't think a lot of people think about this movie when they think Steven Spielberg.
Oh,
but
can I
it's
guess?
fucking awesome. Yes.
Empire of the Sun?
No.
Okay.
The Color Purple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
It's great. Yes. Long.
That movie's
it's been a long
awesome.
time. Yeah.
That movie's awesome. Whoopi Goldberg does fabulous in that. Danny Glover and Oprah Winfrey. It's just a really good movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think it gets a lot of the credit that it deserves. Amongst his films, at least. Any other filmmaker makes that movie, and it's their fucking calling card.
It's funny, until you said it, I was like, oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about that movie.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, do.
Yeah, it's good.
Number 4 for me, I'll go number 4, and then you can give yours.
Yeah.
My number 4 is, you said it in your honorable mentions, but I got to put Close Encounters of the Third Kind
It is really, really good.
on there. It's one of those movies I remember as a kid watching quite often. I think my stepdad really liked it, and it's just good. Now, I will say this. There are some parts to that where it's like long.
Yeah. And I
can
have a
get a
little
little
bit of a
boring.
problem with the way the movie ends. Like, Richard Dreyfuss just kind of leaves his family.
Yeah, but they left him
Yeah, but
because he went crazy.
It was a great movie, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
My 4, again, 4 through 1 for me are all pretty much interchangeable. So this could also be my number 1, but not today. Today, my number 4 is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay. Makes sense. I mean, like I said, it's on my honorable mentions. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's not.
I was
my top
obsessed
5
with
movies.
Indiana Jones as a kid. Like
I was
totally.
too.
Like
I was
think
too. And
I had a little chisel I'd take around and like dig in the yard. I had a fucking bullwhip that I would like whip around tree branches and swing and shit.
I
Did
had
you
a
do that
whip
too?
also. I bought it at a
Yes.
garage sale.
Did you whip?
I don't
like,
know
try
why
to
they
swing?
had a whip.
Did you swing from it?
My parents took it away from me because I whipped it at
Did
a
you whip
kid.
somebody?
Well, I didn't
took it
hit
to
him,
school?
but I whipped it at a kid, and they were like, "Give me that thing."
That's awesome.
Fucking, my parents are always being the fucking thorn in my side. I'm trying to have fun here.
I don't even remember where we got that whip.
I got it at a garage sale, and I was
Yeah,
like,
I think I
why
did
they
too.
have
It was probably a sex toy. It probably wasn't even like a bullwhip.
My parents probably took it away from me because they wanted to use it.
Yeah,
Fucking
they're like,
pervs.
I could put this to good use.
Yep.
Put the end of it up my pee hole.
Call me Indy. All right. What's your number 3?
My 3, I'll keep on with the Indiana Jones theme, is Last Crusade. I like slightly better than Raiders, which I think most people are
Okay.
the other way around. I slightly prefer Last Crusade. And that's the one, and we said it at the beginning of the episode, just a lot of childhood nostalgia. And that's the only one of the original 3 that I saw in the theater.
Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number 3 is E.T. E.T. was a movie, like I said, I saw in the theater, and I fell asleep to. But obviously, it's my wife's favorite movie, and I've seen it a few times. But I will tell you something: that E.T. that'll drive a grown man to tears. That movie
It's a great movie.
It's fucking good. And meeting Dee Wallace, meeting Henry Thomas, the guy who plays Michael. Oh God, his name is escaping me. But meeting those guys,
Yeah, it adds to the magic.
adds a little bit to it. And Dee Wallace is just a sweetheart in real life anyway. But she, my wife met all of them as well, and she just loved it. But I don't know. E.T. is just a great movie. And little Drew Barrymore, she's so cute. in
She's
that movie.
adorable.
Little Gertie. We, when my wife was pregnant with our daughter, we didn't know what our daughter's gender was until we did. But I would call her Gertie.
Aw,
I just
that's
called
cute.
her Gertie, and we almost named her that, but then we were like, we don't want to do that to our child. But we almost
Gertrude.
named her that. Yeah, exactly. Gertrude. Come on.
Yeah, I love E.T.
Anyway, what's your-
The only reason why I didn't make my list is because of like replay. Like, it's not a movie I go back to a lot, but it's really good. And also, I will say John Williams' score in E.T. one of his best. The music's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So you gave your number 3, right?
Yeah, it was Indiana
which
Jones and the Last Crusade.
Okay. My number 3 was E.T. So I'll go my number 2. Listen, Indiana Jones made it to my list as Temple of Doom.
Oh, wow. You're one of those people.
The reason why I thought about this, actually. And that's why I messaged you last night, and I was like, we're going by favorites, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to say my favorite Indiana Jones movie, it's fucking Temple of Doom. And the reason why is because I can watch that movie over and over and over again. Raiders, I can't do that too. And Last Crusade, there are certain points in Last Crusade where I'm like, this is awesome. But as a whole, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I can watch that from start to finish. And I did, just like you, when I was a kid, I watched it so many times.
True. It's probably the one I've seen the most.
And I love it.
Did we know each other when I was Molaram for Halloween one year? Were you here for that party? No? Okay.
No,
that was a cool costume.
I bet it was. But I love Short Round.
Yeah.
And Kate Capshaw is in that movie. And then, of course, Harrison Ford. And I think Harrison Ford is a better Indiana Jones in that movie. It's fun.
Yeah. Harrison Ford's fucking buff in that movie.
Yeah. That movie is also ridiculous.
Yeah, it's completely nuts.
Like, it's nuts. From the get-go.
Very dark. Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, what's your number 2?
So 1 and 2 also switched places on my list a lot, but number 2, I'm going with Jurassic Park. Maybe the most nostalgic movie of my entire childhood. Like I was obsessed.
and you were talking about that earlier, and I did see that movie in the theater. I think it was more catered towards young people, especially commercially, like with the dinosaurs and shit like that. I was already a teenager. I was 15 years old when I saw it. I was probably like, yeah, this movie's cool.
See, and I was still 12, and I was still in that weird awkward, but more kid than teenager. Because I think I saw it like 3 times in the movie theater. I don't remember. I don't think I had toys or anything like that, but I was just like super into it, and I like bought the book and read the book. And then when the Lost World book came out, I was like, oh, I got to read that because I want to be up to speed when the movie comes out. And the movie was nothing like the book. Oh,
that's what I've heard.
Sidebar on Jurassic Park. The sequel, The Lost World, which is not my number 1, by the way. It does not make the list. Is also the first movie I ever took a date to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't have my driver's license, though, so I think my parents had to drive us.
I saw 4 of the 6 now Jurassic Park movies. I saw 4 of them in the theater. I saw the first 3 in the theater, and I saw Jurassic World, the first new one, I guess, in the theater. I haven't seen the 5th one, and then the 6th one just came out. My wife and daughter just went to it the other night.
Oh, nice.
But
yeah, I saw the first 3
video games,
and I saw Jurassic World in the theater. I didn't see the 5th one in the theater, but I did see it, and I haven't seen the new one.
Yeah. Number 1. Did you? Oh, you said Jurassic World. So number 1's got
Jurassic
Jaws,
Park.
right?
Jurassic Park was 2.
Jurassic Park. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And number 1 is Jaws.
Yeah, number 1's Jaws. For me as well.
Awesome.
So, I mean, Spielberg has a vast collection. I mean, my wife and I were going through all of his movies, and I just kept going, "Oh, that one's really good, and that one's really good, and that one's really good." You can't.
Yep. And that's why, and like, putting them in order was so hard because it was like at any given moment, one of these could be my favorite on the list.
Exactly. So that's Jaws. That's Steven Spielberg. If you have any thoughts on that, well, wait a second, David. We're not done yet.
Wait, there's
we can't
more.
be done. We can't be done. This is our 200th episode. We decided to honor 200 by doing. We honored 100. By doing The Shining, which was a 5-head.
Just one movie. Yep.
One movie. We honored 200 by doing just one movie, and that was Jaws. And David, we've made a decision, an executive decision. It's an end of an era.
Changes around here.
We are not going anywhere. We're still going to be doing episodes, and we're still going to be giving you probably the exact same amount of time per episode, probably more. But we're only going to be reviewing one movie a week from now on, or for the foreseeable future. We might have the
occasional 2, but the norm going forward is going to be 1.
Yeah, and that was discussed by David and myself only because, got to be honest with you guys, it's really hard to watch 6 movies, and we watch them pretty close to the time that we record them. So we watch like 6 movies in 1 week and then talk about them.
Yeah. And then
It's so
record
much
3 at a
easier to
time.
watch one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much easier to watch one movie and talk about it, or watch 3 movies and talk about those 3 in separate episodes, than it is to watch 6 movies. And when we first started, if you listen to this podcast from episode 1, at the beginning, we were doing 3 movies an
Which
episode.
is ridiculous. So that means by the time we get to the 300th episode, we'll be doing none. No movies. We talk about half of a movie. Like, just talk about the first
Or
time.
shorts.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about short films.
The other thing too is with the 2 movie thing is lots of times we'll have a lengthy discussion. We'll run a little bit long talking about the first movie, and it's like then we got to kind of blast through the second movie. It's like now we can also spend a little bit more time kind of going through it.
And I feel like we did that with Jaws. Like, even at the beginning of the episode, I'm like, we could go through this pretty quickly.
No,
We still talked about fucking everything. Because that's what we do. Specifically me. I just kind of over-talk about shit a lot of times.
yeah, whatever.
But 200 episodes, David. Episode 1, okay? I didn't prepare you for any of this.
God.
Episode 1 was called, our first episode was called All Things Friday the 13th.
Yes.
It was myself, you, and Alan, our former 3rd member of the Swearwolves. He's always a Swearwolf, but he's not any longer on the podcast. But that episode was released on September 15th, 2018, David. What was the number 1 movie in the theater September 15th, 2018?
Oh God.
You have no idea.
Is it something I never heard of? I can't even think. Halloween.
No, you've heard of
Is
it.
it Halloween 2018? No, that came out later, I think.
That came out after. That came out a few.
That was like
weeks
November, I
after.
think, or something, or October.
Yeah, probably
October.
maybe months. Yeah. No, the number 1 movie, kind of horror related, was called The Predator.
Oh, yeah, I never saw that.
Did you ever see that one? It was all right. The number 1 song? You'll never guess it.
Got nothing. What do you got?
It was In My Feelings by Drake.
Nope.
Nope.
I couldn't even.
Me neither.
Couldn't even sing a bar.
David, I know it's like picking your favorite kid, but what are some of your favorite episodes? I will start, actually. I'll let you think about it. Memorable episodes or memorable bits.
Who's this from? Is this from a listener?
This is from me.
Oh, from you. Okay.
No, this is from me. This is from me. I will get to listener questions in a second, but fuck them. Anyway, let's talk about what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
One of the most memorable episodes for me probably was episode 9.
Is that Monster Battle Royale?
Monster Battle Royale.
That's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, and that came about kind of by accident, right, David? You've told this. I forgot. But how did that episode come about?
I don't even remember what movie or movies we were supposed to discuss. We had an actual episode planned, and I think when you and Alan showed up, one of you didn't watch one of the movies, and I think one of you didn't.
It was me.
And one of you didn't see the other one, I think. And I think I was the one who actually did the homework and watched both. But then we were like, well, fuck. How are we going to get through this? And then, I think you just took out a piece of paper or something like, hold on a second, give me a minute. Like, I've got an idea. And you're like, all right, we'll play a game instead. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. That would have been one of my favorite episodes too, because that whole episode, I mean, all of our episodes are improvised for the most part, but like we literally, like, you wrote that game out and then we just hit record and it was like, okay, we're go.
We're going to play. And and I think that was part of the fun of it was you guys didn't know what was going to happen. And I had this idea and I was like, okay, just give me a second. And we just came up with it kind of on the spot. So, but yes, I think it was, both of us, maybe Ellen and I both, who were like, we didn't watch the movies.
Well, it worked out for the better, probably.
It did. Another memorable moment actually happened. I don't want to say recently, but there's pre 100 and post 100 Swearwolves, and pre 100 is the stuff with Alan, which really good episodes, and post 100 is the stuff that's just you and I. And we've had a lot of moments just you and I where we've gone into giggle fits, specifically me. And one of them, and I still laugh to this fucking day because I watch it and I listen to it because there's a TikTok video It's from episode 144. Welcome to the Motel California, and we're talking about that fucking movie.
Motel.
What is it?
Mountaintop Motel Massacre.
Mountaintop Motel Massacre.
Yeah.
It's like we're talking about Bill McWillie.
Fucking Bill McWillie.
And I think, when we were in Dallas recently,
yes,
when we were in Dallas,
we got laughing about it all over again.
We were going to bed, and I pulled it up, and I just played it, and I was laughing again. But you were like, Bill McWillie, who do I send this bill to? You could Bill McWillie for all I care. And I was just like, why? Why did you say that? And it just struck me so funny. And I was like, Bill McWillie. You can build this dick.
Exactly. Like, I'm just trying to pay my bill.
So those moments are the ones, because they're genuine. Like,
Yeah.
not that anything is disingenuous, but like when I say to you, or you say to me before we start recording, it's like, I want to talk about this. Then I'll know that you're going to talk about that. And when I hear you talk about it, I'm like, okay, well, he already told me he was going to talk about that. So
Yeah.
I knew that it was coming. Now, how you say it and what you say and my reaction, we don't script out, obviously. If we did, we're really poor writers.
We're really bad at it.
But the stuff that gets me is the stuff that just happens, and we just start laughing.
Just the random nonsense. Yeah, where it's like, if you told me before recording this, hey, we're going to talk about, Bill McWillie or Swedish pop songs or whatever. Like, oh, weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as funny.
Shit-eating dwarves.
That's another one.
Yeah, that's another one.
There you go.
The Gremlins
Ghoulies episode,
Ghoulies
right?
episode. Yeah.
But you got any more?
I think it's episode 111, the Trick or Treat episode and Trick or Treats.
God.
That's the one that's got the pop, the pop medley. Like where we talked
ABBA,
about
Ace of Base.
Yeah, different songs, and I remember just laughing about all those songs, and then you talking about doing a medley, and then I snuck it in the outtakes.
Did it?
I actually did it.
I was like,
fun.
if you got time, and you're like, I won't have time, and then you fucking did it.
I made time. And I think that night that I did it, I think I just texted you like, I've done something. I don't even remember what I said. I was like, you'll hear.
I'm like, did you kill somebody? You're like, no.
Yes.
But yes.
But also
I need help with the body. Okay. Why don't we I have a game to play, but we can go to a couple of questions here. Let's see. I'll read one. If you want to play a voicemail after this, we can do that. But
sure.
Eric Witt 03. Eric.
Yeah.
From
you know that guy?
From
North Carolina?
North Carolina, I believe.
Yeah.
He commented, he said, welcome to the Swearwolves 200th episode, the episode that asks the Swearwolves questions. I'm Eric, you're Bret, and David. David, hope you're staying hydrated, my friend. And Bret, welcome to the East Coast. I wanted to say congratulations on 200 episodes. I'm a longtime listener from North Carolina. I found the Swearwolves searching through Apple Podcasts one day randomly, and y'all had just released episode 10. I knew I'd love you guys since the very first episode was all about Friday the 13th, my favorite horror franchise. Ever since then, I've been hooked and listened to you guys daily. This fucker listens to us. No offense, Eric, but this fucker listens to us daily.
That's awesome. Thanks, man.
I have an hour drive to and from work, and y'all make the drive much more entertaining. I am currently on my, ready for this? 4th playthrough of every episode.
Wow.
And he says he thinks he's currently on episode 141 again, which episode 144 is Welcome to Motel California, so you'll get to listen to that
Bill
part.
McWillie soon.
Bill McWillie. You'll get to Bill McWillie for all I care. I feel like I've known you guys all my life, even though we've never met. Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you guys for all you do, and I hope y'all keep the podcast going for a very long time, like at least till episode 5,000 or so.
Man, we'll be so old.
Oh, fuck. I asked several questions in episode 100, so and he also sent us pizza, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll keep it short and sweet this time. My question is for you guys. Can we get a shaka?
Shaka.
He feels like it's been a long time since we have had one. Y'all are awesome. And then he hashtagged it with a bunch of hashtags. Swearwolves #1 fan, taint to tip. It's a good one.
It just makes sense.
Alan loves Linnea. Hashtag Bret can't whistle. Hashtag David loves rubbing cotton balls together. That goes deep. Taint to tip. That's a good one.
Yeah. That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. Yeah. So I got a shocker there for you, Eric.
There you go. And I'm staying hydrated. I'm drinking water right now.
Yep. Shocker. That goes back to the beginning times.
Yeah, it was early.
Shocker. So, do you got a voicemail that we can hear?
No, sure. Hold on. All right, we got a few voicemails. This first one is from a longtime listener, Christy.
Hey guys, it's Christy from Georgia, longtime listener, biggest fan. I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that I still enjoy the podcast very much. You guys are hilarious and the episodes are really done well, so bravo. Okay, actually I do have a question. Will you guys ever come to a con in Georgia? Because I want to meet you. Anyway, keep up the good work. I'm making that cheesy heart sign for you with my hands. In fact, not really. I only have one hand free. Can you tell Alan I said hello, please? Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Christy. Yeah, Georgia. We would love to go to Atlanta. Days of the Dead does a show there. And I was actually looking. They have one coming up, I think, in January of 2023. So, pending lineup, I'm open to it. And because I think the week before that, I got to check, but I think I might be in New Orleans the week before.
Well, now, you're the place they'll talk like this for you, David.
They got frogs.
Listen, down here in Georgia, I don't know how they do it in Louisiana, but down here in Georgia, I don't know if Bret is welcome down in these parts with the way he talks.
Yes, yeah, we would love to go to a show. Like, at least I would. You want to go?
Yeah, we've talked about going to Georgia a few times, and specifically because I know that a lot of the Friday the 13th Part 6 people actually go there because that's where they filmed Part 6. And there's also some, well, when they were filming Walking Dead, they were, I think they did some Walking Dead cons, but we have a bad taste in our mouth about that.
Yeah, but maybe.
Walking Dead convention.
Oh, yeah, that was a shit show. That con we got screwed out of. Never got our money back. Ugh.
Never got our money back. Fuck them.
Yeah. Anyway, yes.
Thank you. We will tell Alan. You said hi. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you.
And I cheated a little bit. I saw this message last night. I actually texted Alan. Boom. I was watching. Last night I was watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I was thinking of Alan because I know he loves that movie. So I texted him. I was like, all right, 3 things. One, I'm watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly right now. 2, Bret and I are going to Pittsburgh, and we're going to meet Carpenter next month. Do you want us to take anything with us to get signed? 3, Christy says hi from Georgia. And he says hello back.
And does he want us to bring his They Live?
He said he's good. He's like, nah, I don't think I have anything. It's like, all right, man, I'll take your They Live one sheet.
Yeah,
no, he said
he's
give
it to me.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Yes, thank you, Christy, and thank you for being so interactive with us on Twitter. We've gotten to know her on Twitter. Ms. Divine on Instagram says, "How about your take on the upcoming?" She said Monsters movie, but I'm sure that kind of spell checked it from Monsters movie, or Subspecies, or Children of the Night. Never seen Subspecies.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know what Children of the Night is off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither. I'm sorry, it's not ringing a bell.
I should have probably looked that up.
But the Monsters, I'm excited for it. I'm not expecting much, so for me the bar is low. So I'm not expecting to be blown away, but I'm curious to see what Rob Zombie does with a more quote-unquote family film type thing. Like, give Rob Zombie a scenario where he can't say fuck every other word. That'll be interesting to see what he does.
It's rated PG.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I am looking forward to it. Now, here's the thing. Rob Zombie is very hit or miss, mostly miss with me. I love House of a Thousand Corpses. I love Devil's Rejects. I like Three from Hell as well. I liked Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first one. The rest of his movies, I'm just kind of like...
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you.
It'll be interesting to see what he does with the Munsters. I know he's a super Munsters fan, so I'm sure he's going to give it the reverence that it deserves, but we'll see. I'll give it a chance.
I'm interested.
Yes. Cool. What else we got for voicemails?
Let's do one more. This is... Well, I actually got two more. Who is this from? Let's see. Oh, this is from our good friend in Canada, Leah.
Oh, I get a chance to do my Canadian impression now, too. Oh, hey.
What's up, David and Brett? It's your favorite Canadian and international guest, Little Leah. I just wanted to call and say congrats on 200 episodes. And, basically it's my feeble attempt to indirectly be on your show again. But seriously, this is a huge deal. 200 episodes. You're constantly having the best time ever together, singing, laughing, and pretty much doing some of the worst accents ever known to man. And even though it's just the two of you, I've really always loved how inclusive you make it feel for your listeners. But I do have a question. 200 episodes. You haven't killed each other yet, but have you ever had to hide a body together? If not, and we go down the rabbit hole of what-if scenarios, from watching all of the horror movies you've watched together, how would you do it? And side note, hi FBI, we're totally just having fun and kidding around. Anyways, again, congratulations. I adore the shit out of both of you and what you do, and I give you infinity Pamela Voorhees Heads. Keep up all the fantastic work, kids.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
No, we have not had to hide a body together. Not at all.
Never. I don't know how I would do it, to be honest with you, because this day and age, it's hard to get away with anything because there's cameras everywhere.
You can't get away with murder.
And they track, you'd have to buy all the equipment, or if you were going to dissolve somebody or something, you'd have to have all that shit way in advance. You'd have to be really doing the long con.
Yeah.
In case they check your records.
And it would have to be someone that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
But even then, with cameras everywhere, they can track where you've been driving. It's.
Yeah. No, I've never thought about it.
I was talking to my family recently about John Wayne Gacy, because apparently that's what families talk about.
Yeah.
But I was like, this day and age, I feel like something like that couldn't happen just because of the way technology works. And I think it's harder to get away with shit in a good way.
Yeah, but
just to be clear, in a good way.
But then, yes, no, exactly. But then you always hear about somebody who's a fucking serial killer. David, serial killers still happen. So people still get away with it.
It's harder.
It might be harder to get away with it and never get caught, but you're going to get caught. Even fucking John Gacy got caught. The only one the prolific one who never got caught was Zodiac, and that's probably just because that fucker croaked.
Exactly.
He probably got caught for something else, and he was in jail.
He died in prison.
But and the only one who could have gotten away with it, but listen, serial killers are fucking obviously sick.
Well, they're nuts,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, but BTK... he got away with it. And then he was like, I still want it. And 10 years later started messaging.
That's right. He fucked up when he started sending letters again. Yep.
Yeah. But he started doing it over the internet. And they're like, dude, we have your fucking...
You got your IP address.
IP address. Yeah. He's like, oh, fuck.
That's a thing? What? They're like, also, you watch a lot of porn. He's like, yeah, I do.
And they're like,
I do.
Good on you. Thanks for some tips. But thank you, Leah, for messaging us, and thank you for all the kind words and for the help on our new logo
logo,
I guess.
On our podcast, on the podcast platforms, or our icon or whatever.
Yeah,
our album
logo?
cover.
We'll just our album art.
Yeah.
She did that for us. So, and she is our favorite Canadian listener. Elena did have a question here. Actually, she says, would you ever consider covering a horror series, such as Stranger Things, in parts perhaps? I know it's more of a commitment, but in the intro it does say all things horror.
That's true.
Also, why haven't you done 1408 yet? That's my main question. Honestly, though, you both make my Mondays just a bit better, and I love you both for that. Keep on being awesome. And Bret, snake it to the limit. And she put a turd icon.
Snake it to the limit. I get that reference.
To the limit.
One more time. Snake it.
Oh, by the way, little update on that. The guy came over with the camera.
Oh, yeah, the pervert with the poop camera, with the poop fetish? Yeah,
the pervert with the poop camera. One of the nicest guys ever, by the way.
No one would suspect him of being a deviant.
And guess what? The pipes were clean.
Oh, fantastic.
Everything is good.
That's great.
Everything is good in the world.
It's good to hear.
It is good to hear. Yes. Okay. So this is something we have discussed in the past, talking about TV shows, series. We've talked about doing a Twilight Zone kind of series, like where we go through all the different ones. There was Friday the 13th, the series, which I don't think David ever watched.
Nope.
But we've talked about doing that.
Tales from the Crypt. Yeah.
Tales from the Crypt. We would love to do that. However, there's not enough hours in the day right now. And when we've talked about doing this, we've talked, if we did it, it would be like a Patreon thing. So like people would pay for it and we would release it on a weekly basis. It could be something, if we had enough interest, if somebody was like, hey, let's sign a petition and we'll get all these people to sign a petition and you'll have at least this many listeners paying this amount of money for a monthly episode of the extra episode of the Swearwolves, we would. Right now, we do this all for free. Actually, we do it at a deficit because we pay
it's
for
not
everything.
free.
We pay
not free for us.
We pay for all the equipment. We pay for the
hosting
website.
Yeah, all that
the
stuff.
hosting.
It all costs money.
All that shit. Yeah, it all costs money, and we don't get dime one from it. The T-shirts that we've sold in the past, we've put that back into the podcast, but it hasn't been a lot of money.
No, but thank you for buying them. Buy more.
Yeah, thank you for buying them. Buy more. I don't care. Or don't. We do this for free. We do this because as friends, we love talking to each other. And that's kind of part of the charm of this is like we enjoy each other's company. And I think that comes through in the podcast. But we also enjoy talking to the people that listen to this. Yeah. So even though you're not talking back to us, or we can't hear you at least, you're probably saying, God, Bret, shut the fuck up. You're an idiot.
God damn it. Yeah, the other thing, too, is like if we did a TV series, maybe we do like an episode where we watched, 3 or 4 episodes of Tales from the Crypt or something. Like something like that could work. But as far as like doing like a whole series breakdown, yeah, that'd be hard to pull off. And it would also turn off people that maybe aren't into that show.
That's true. And that's why I said it would be a Patreon type of thing.
Yeah.
Like for something, I'm trying to think. A good example would be American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Every week after that show airs, you could download the Swearwolves take on it.
Yeah, it makes sense to be more of an extra kind of thing.
The problem is that David and I don't watch TV when it airs either. So like with American Horror Story, it might air on a Wednesday. We're not watching it on Wednesday. We might watch it on Saturday. David might watch it on Sunday because we got shit going on.
Mm-hmm. True.
But it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And again, if Patreon dictates it, we would do it.
There you go.
Or if we started getting paid to do the podcast, I'd do it.
Yes.
All right, you got one last voicemail, and then we'll get to my game, and then we'll be done with this shit.
All right. This is from our good friend Jersey Mike.
Hey, this is Jersey Mike. I just wanted to see if you guys had ever heard of Deadly Friend. And could you do Death Spa? Love you.
Fucking
Jersey Mike.
Death Spa. He's obsessed. He's a man obsessed.
Well, here's what happened with that. I don't know if I explained this on the podcast. Jersey Mike would text message David and I.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think. And just
did we?
Beat us over the head
Friend?
with a Deadly Friend.
Till we finally did it, and I told him, you cannot suggest anything for the next 3 months. And he was like, okay. And he didn't, to his credit. And now it's been incessantly
He had it probably marked on the calendar, like, this is the day I can start asking for Death Spa every day.
Is he going through the alphabet? Is he like Deadly Friend, Death Spa?
He's like, they already did Death Ship. Okay.
He wouldn't know, though, because he always fucking asks us. He's like, have you ever done the movie The Gate? It's like, Yes.
This is probably a good time to remind our listeners we have a website, theswearwolves.com, where we have like all of our episodes. But you can also go to a tab that has our movie reviews, and you can just look. It's in alphabetical order. You can just scroll and be like, "Oh, yes, they did do
And
this
you
movie."
can see what we gave the movie.
Oh,
so
and
you
they
can be
liked
like,
it.
Yeah, you can be like Jack Frost. Brett gave it a 2. David gave it a 2. That movie sucks. Why the fuck did these guys give it a 2? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We make it real easy for you. But yes,
All right,
Death
David.
Spa, maybe someday.
Maybe someday. But Jersey Mike, thank you, my friend, and we'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. David,
Yes.
have you ever heard of Doug Benson?
No.
He's a comedian. He does a podcast called Doug Loves Movies.
Ah.
And I used to listen to this podcast. I don't even know if it's still around. I don't listen to it anymore. But he used to listen to, he used to do a game on his podcast called the Leonard Maltin game. It was a game that he and Brian Posehn and Sarah Silverman, I believe, made up when they were comedians, and they were just sitting around doing nothing. And the game goes something like this. You grab the Leonard Maltin book of whatever, of movies,
Right.
and you flip it open to a page, and you give a person clues on this movie, and they have to try to guess it
Okay.
with at least the least amount of clues. So an example would be this. I'll start by giving you the date, and then we'll go through the different rounds, and you try to guess what movie I'm talking about. Okay. So this is just an example.
Oh, okay.
The year it came out was 2000, and it's a horror movie. So do you have any guesses?
2000. Final Destination.
Incorrect. Leonard Maltin gave it 1.5 stars.
2000.
And I will give you the cast, but I'm going to give you it in reverse importance. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to, this isn't the star. This is kind of like the 13th billed person.
Oh.
Now, if I give you this person and you can guess it from that person, then you're really good, right? And you don't have to get to the star. Matt Ross,
I don't know who that is.
Guinevere Turner, Justin Theroux,
No.
Chloe Sevigny.
Oh, American Psycho.
You are correct. So you
Nice.
got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chloe Sevigny was the 6th
Okay.
billed person. So you got it. The rest would be obviously Samantha Mathis, Reese Witherspoon, Jared Leto, Willem Dafoe, and Christian Bale. But yeah, Maltin only gave it 1.5 stars.
That's crazy.
So how you could play this as a competition would be you might do it like name that tune. I think is how he
Yeah.
eventually did it. He's like, I can name that in one person or whatever. I can name that in 2 people. Whatever the case may be. Yeah, Maltin didn't like that movie, by the way. He said
That's crazy. That movie's great.
Bale gives a dynamic performance in this turgid film. Turgid. I had to look up the definition. I had to look up the definition of turgid. It means pompous.
That's kind
Fuck
of
you,
ironic.
Leonard Maltin. That movie was
It's a pompous word to use. Fucking
exactly. And it's supposed to be pompous. It's about a fucking pompous fucking yuppie.
Yeah.
I told you about the Leonard Maltin game. Not to play the Leonard Maltin game with you, but to play a version of the Leonard Maltin game, and it involves Swearwolves episodes. So I'm going to give
Oh,
you
God.
information about the episodes, and you have to tell me what movies we discussed in them.
Oh,
The-
okay.
the
I
fewer
thought you were gonna say,
clues
like,
that
the
you-
episode number is like,
No.
good.
The fewer clues that you get, the more points you get. The more points you get, the bigger the prizes. The prizes, nothing. Okay? So, I don't only, but I have 6. I'm going to do them in no specific order, so I'm going to do this one first. All right, release date. July 25th, 2021. What was the episode?
I
You
don't
get it from that? Like, that's going to be good.
I don't know.
Or what movies? I guess I won't tell you. You won't have to come up with the name of the
Yeah.
episode. Just the movies.
the movies. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Overall ratings for the 2 movies that we discussed, 0.75 and 2.
Oh.
I gave the first movie a half a head, and you gave the first movie 1 head, and we both gave the second movie 2 heads.
Ginger Dead Man?
No.
Okay.
All right, here's the description of the episode. Bret and David turn on the punk rock, conjure an imp, and discuss...
Oh, that's going to be Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama. And... Oh, punk rock. Ooh, what was the other movie?
You're so close. You're so close. You got the first movie.
one
You
of
just
them.
need the second one.
Punk rock. I don't know.
All right. The episode number is 151, and the title of the episode is Imps and Gimps.
Imps and Gimps? So somebody's got like a gimpy leg or something? Fuck.
Yep. Eventually. And then another person gets a gimpy something. They get their arms chopped off and their legs chopped off, and they get like weapons attached to them, and they fight to the death.
Oh, what was that movie? The movie with all the girls.
Yes.
I can't remember what it was
They
called.
were in a band.
Yes. Okay. I don't remember what that movie was
in a
called. though.
junkyard.
Dang it.
It's like when you need extra pieces of something, they are your...
I don't know.
When you have an extra tire in the back of your car, it's called
spare parts. Is that what it was called?
There you go.
Okay. I
Yeah.
forgot about that movie.
Yeah, you didn't need any help from me.
No.
Okay, 0.0
I award you
points
0
on that
points.
one. All right, let's go with this one. All right, this will be an easy one.
I don't know about that.
Release date. It will be easy, trust me.
All
Release date, November 24th, 2019.
No.
No guess?
2 years ago? I can't remember. No.
It was almost 3.
Yeah.
All right. Overall rating for the 2 movies, 0.33 and 0.33.
Oh God.
I gave both movies 0 Pamela Voorhees Heads.
I got this
and
one.
you gave the first one half a head, and you gave the second one 1 head.
This is gonna be Thanksgiving and Poultrygeist.
That is correct, my friend.
Yeah, nice.
The description: the Swearwolves are incredibly thankful for all the great movies they've been blessed to watch for the podcast. This week's episode, however, serves as a reminder that really, really bad movies also exist. So hold your favorite horror films extra close this holiday, as Bret, David, and Alan are forced to gobble up Poultrygeist and Thanksgiving. That was episode number 64, and the title was "This Thanksgiving We're Sorry." So
That's
I'll
fun.
give you
20
3
points.
arbitrarily assigned points for that one. All right, next release date December 27th, 2020.
So that's like a New Year's episode, maybe. New Year's Evil? And what do we pair with that? Oh, wait. I'm thinking of something else. I can't remember.
Come on, you're so fucking close.
Wait, was it Bloody New Year?
No! God damn it. You were going to get 1 billion points if you got that.
New Year's Evil is one of them, though, right?
Yes. Fuck.
Wait.
Overall rating.
Was it Terror Train?
Boom!
Nice.
You don't get 1 million points, but you
All
get
right.
500,000 points,
500,000.
David. Because that was your second guess. Yes. Overall ratings were 2.25 and 1.75. I gave Terror Train 2. You gave it 2.5. And New Year's Evil, we gave 1.5 for me and 2 for you.
New Year's Eve.
Bret and David. Bret and David bid a much-deserved adios to 2020 by discussing 2 New Year's Eve-themed horror movies from 1980. Terror Train and New Year's Evil. Episode 121 title was Loco Motives. Get it?
I do. Yep.
Little side note about the titles of these shows. David is usually the one who comes up with the titles, because my
Not
titles are
always.
always like, my title would have been for that. How about we call it New Year's Terror Train?
There you go.
David's like, how about locomotives? And I'm like, that's perfect. Go with it.
Perfect.
All right. Release date. We only got about a dozen more of these.
Oh,
to go.
Jesus.
No, we only got three. We got three more. We can do.
Okay.
Release date, May 26, 2019.
May 2019.
This is one of my favorite titles of an episode, by the way.
Oh, awesome. I don't know. I'm going to need hints.
Overall ratings, 1.83. This is when we had three people on the podcast, so
okay.
the math was all fucked up. 1.83 and 3.17.
Oh, I don't know.
We actually both gave each movie the same thing. We both gave the first movie a 2 and the second movie a 3. Description.
Okay.
Put on a smock because things are about to get gooey. Bret, David, and Alan discuss a couple of 1980s films with viciously viscous antagonists.
Oh,
Viciously viscous, gooey, 1980s.
Oh,
Good title.
The Blob.
Uh-huh.
The Stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Episode number 38, The Pink and the Stink.
The Pink and the Stink. Oh, that's funny.
You get
Because
15
The Blob was pink and The Stuff was a shitty movie. I get it.
Yeah. And because of a
Oh yeah,
vagina
and
and
the
an
other,
asshole.
yes, of course, of course, the obvious.
We're so clever.
Yeah, very highbrow.
All right. Second to last one. Release date September 12th, 2021. So that was recently.
September.
Yes,
Okay.
most recent. The most
Okay.
recent one. Overall ratings 3.5 and 4.5.
3.5 and 4.5. Wow. I don't know. Give me more.
You need the description?
Yeah.
Bret and David blast some punk music. We're always with the fucking punk music. Bret and David blast some punk music, pour themselves a cold pint, and discuss a pair of zombie-themed horror comedies.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be Shaun of the Dead and Return of the Living Dead.
That's right. Episode number 158. You've got dead on you. Get it?
Very clever again.
You get 12.5 points for that. All right.
Thanks.
All right, last one. If you get this one, double the points. If you miss this one, you get 0 points.
If I get it, someone will crawl up my pee hole and tickle me.
Release date March 15th, 2020.
2020. Ooh, okay.
Overall ratings 0.67 and 2.17. I gave we both gave the first movie half a head. And we both gave the second. Well, no, I gave the second movie 1.5, and you gave the second movie 2.
No.
Description: Bret, David, and Alan discuss 2 80s horror films about kids fighting off monsters. Are these monsters in the spirit of the Goonies and the Monster Squad, or are they goofy and make them want to take a monster squat?
Well, it sucks because when you first started reading it, I was like, oh, maybe it's the Monster Squad, but it's not. So, it's going to be, is The Gate one of them?
Yes.
The
Gate is the second one.
Okay.
The Gate is the second one, the one that we gave 1.5 and 2.
These are both
heads to.
80s
So
movies,
think
it
about.
says?
Yeah.
Ooh. What do we pair with The Gate?
I'll give you a hint that's not on here.
Okay.
It's a movie that Alan recommended.
Oh. Is it an Italian movie?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
But to be fair, I think he didn't like it either.
Oh, okay.
The episode title, it's episode number 80. The title is Chodes and Geodes.
Well, Geodes is a gate. Fucking chodes.
I don't know why. I think
Somebody
just
act
because
like
they're
a
a bunch of
chode?
chodes.
Yeah, is there a short, fat dick? I don't know.
All right, you lose all your points.
Oh,
The
that's a
movie was
shame. That's a damn shame.
Neon Maniacs.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Bunch of chodes.
That's good stuff.
Well, my friend, it's good pink. It's good stink.
Yeah, that
It's
it
good
is.
stuff. Well, my friend, that's 300 episodes. You did well with the game. Did you like that game?
Yeah, it was only 200 episodes, but
What did I say?
300.
Oh, fuck. It feels like 300. Feels like we've been on this call for 100 episodes.
It's been a long one.
It's been a long day. But anyway, that's 200 episodes. Congratulations.
You too, man. It goes by fast.
It does. But that's it. If you have anything else that you want to discuss, if you want to discuss 200 episodes, if you want to discuss Jaws, if you have any questions for us, comments, suggestions, if you want to join our Patreon, non-existent.
Non-existent
well, actually,
Patreon.
we do have a Patreon. We
That's
just
true.
have
It's just
never
not
shared
turned
it with
on.
anybody.
One of these days,
If
perhaps.
you want to join our non-existent Patreon, please contact us. How can they contact us, David?
On Twitter, Facebook, the Slash Rap, TikTok, YouTube, just search the Swearwolves. On Instagram, we are the Swearwolves Podcast. You can go to our website, theswearwolves.com. You can email us at swearwolvespodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 623-282-1851.
So for the Swearwolves this week, I'm Brett.
I'm David.
I'm the Pink.
And I'm the Stink.